Introducing PubCoin. PubCoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into PubCoins. PubCoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys soon.
Upgrade your membership to Gold. You will be automatically entered in every horse race, every Wednesday and Friday. It is time to race horses. We are racing camels today.
Shout out to the Gold members. We're racing in San Antonio immediately here. And we're off. 2 minutes, 74 canals on this racetrack. It's wide. We're racing in San Antonio.
Matt Wally moving forwardly. Jeff Slaughter in the mix as well. And as is Randall Sheffield, who's put that beautiful nose out front.
But it's actually real grass here, Jimmy. Maybe Kentucky bluegrass. Oldie, no! There he goes. Oldie in the lead now. K. Wolf falls back. The horses love it. Sometimes they stop and eat it on the way to the finish line. That's why your horses start so far in the back. Here. Oh, look at Nussflush Allen bursting out here. J-Dub in the mix. Rude Boy up here as well. Jimmy, take it away.
There's Oldie. Oldie is moving to the front. We are past the halfway mark in our 2 mile. And there's Ricky Levy.
Oh my goodness, he's in the mix here. Jimmy, take it home. This is our first dog race ever.
19 seconds left in the horse race here. It's Fernando Mendoza trying to find the wire. 14 seconds left. Can Fernando Mendoza take this home? Here comes Kenny Kengan. Kenny Kengan wants a piece of the pie. Put his schnoz up front. Ricky Bobby, 9 seconds left. Can Donut Silks make a run? Can Res Mall make a run to be $50?
You son of a bitch!
Here comes Tori Coker. Kenny Kengan, Smoke and Mirrors, Director 97. Home. That is why here comes Jason Meyer, the Eldorado custodian. Billy Friedrich. Jones one all coming down the finish.
Coin! Nowhere!
Oh no! Fanatical Jim!
From the corporate Peter Low Shack, legendary sports handicapper, more dapper than a Dom. Father young phenom, known as Jimmy, who declared one day that the bag was here to stay. Information like a PSA, we all PSR Pub Sports Radio is all. Is a man named Slaughter and he flipped the script. No competition in this but they quit the trip. But we say we be pubbing, better with the bag and you love it. We want a top 10, we above it. Let's check.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, February 7th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Coming off a good night. It was shaping up to be a great night, but a couple late spots went against me. I mean, I was 5-0 with 2 pushes going into that late game in Seattle. Those are my only 2 losses on the NHL card. Disappointing. So 5-2 there. Also, my late action in NBA really was bad. But, got in on the Warriors plus 16.5. One thing that's so important about NHL, and keep this in mind because it's just, I've swept the board back-to-back nights live. For me, this only works when I have a favorite who I truly believe is the better hockey team in a good situation or a decent enough situation. When there is a goal against you, it's not a bad thing. You immediately bet them live. Only bet them live one time. Don't keep chasing. But last night, just like the night before, I'll have to go into my history to see 2 nights ago. But last night, Avalanche at plus 130. Flames up 1-0. That's just, they win 4-1. And then Panthers plus 115. And both of those games, if you blinked, they were both the Panthers and the Avalanche were back in front. So just really perfect situations. And if I go into my history here quickly to 48 hours, the same thing the night before. Oh, it was just the Rangers at plus 160. And that happened a little bit later in the game at plus 160. So, keep that in mind. If your team goes down a goal, just bet them again. Now, it's up to you how much you want to bet. If you want to go with another unit, a half unit, a third of a unit, you don't need to go with a full unit because you're always getting plus money. So you don't need to. It doesn't necessarily have to be a double up spot, but just keep in mind that it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing and can make you more money. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. We got a huge show today. Huge show. We don't have too many games, so we get to deep dive on them. We have C-Mac, of course, on Fridays with us, and Morgan Spooner back in business with us today, and Daby Cap. So we're going to have 3 cappers hitting college basketball with us. And then in NBA Wine Time Sports back in business with us. Great to see all of you guys. Viper NB in the house. Rangers, Winnipeg Jets -1 so far. This reminds me of that card on Wednesday with Gokster. Those are great bets that I on as well. I have also moved on the Edmonton Oilers. I almost moved on the over in that game, but so this is that keep it simple, stupid. That's what this is. And we'll go over those. But I love the Rangers -1, Winnipeg -1. I love the spots. So especially the Rangers -1. But we will see because Crosby could miss his first game since 2022. We could see if they're capable of stepping up, which I don't know if they are. Vipers action. He's also on Milwaukee -5.5. Gorky Paris money line. Let's get this all copied and pasted so we can get to work here. Get this locked in. Dan Kelly just got on Knicks to win the Atlantic Division at plus 500. Wow. Look at that. Thank you for sharing that. It says Mitchell Robinson scheduled to come back after the All-Star break. Then Pig Milk play of the day here on St. Louis plus 6.5. We'll be talking all about that. So let's get this all set up here. I will be capping the NHL card with you guys. And then we're going to have 3 cappers joining me for college basketball. Just a nice amount of action for us to attack. Dan Kelly says, so Pistons Nets couldn't be Washington. It was shocking. It was shocking. And I do think we get 9 more wins. I do. Absolutely. There's our guy, the truth teller in the house. God, he's at a beautiful casino there in Washington State. I love to see it. He's going to be there for a few days. I love it. He's going to place a big bet on his Kansas City Chiefs. By the way, our huge Super Bowl video, we have 19 different cappers on sides and totals and 19 different cappers on player props. It's really fun. And they're different groups. So 2 videos that's coming out today. We're really excited about it. True Teller going to be on the Chiefs, betting heavy on the Chiefs. He joined me on the Vegas Golden Knights last night. That was very, very easy. Very easy. Jermaine in the house. We got respect play of the day. Another casher for Rez Mob. Gerald Jones, a best bet Princeton -7. Let's get that copied and pasted here right under sweet pig milk. That's Gerald Jones. Let's get this up here so we can discuss it as we go through the card. It's nice. We don't need to rush. I don't feel overwhelmed. I'm very excited about this. True Teller says Kansas City better in every position except for running back. Now, certainly, you don't think that the Chiefs have a better offensive line than the Eagles or a better defense than the Eagles. But again, if you don't want to look at the numbers and use your eye test, then you're feel free to feel those things, Truth Teller. If you look at the numbers, that is certainly not the case. But Truth, it's fun being on the other side. I got to be on the other side of Bobano yesterday on a few spots. That worked out very well for me. It's all good. And it's part of the fun. Nuke worker in the house. Dan Kelly said, I'd like to see the Cavs get Ben Simmons on the buyout. That is very possible. Yes, we've heard that he's meeting with the Cavs and the Clippers. Dave Redling ready to go. We got a great group ready to eat with us here. Nate Dogg 420 in the house. Boxing First Vlog BFV. It was a huge score for you guys on Ohio State. Huge score on Ohio State. Red Girl in the house. Great to see you. A Red Girl ready to rock. LJ from H-Town. A monster night in NBA. It was great to see. And the Trill OG play of the day. First quarter team total over 31 for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's get that here. Thank you for sharing. That was great capping with you yesterday. Can you believe LeBron didn't get that triple-double? I mean, that was a plus 368 banger for Durrell. Nasty Nate in the house. Red Girl went 7-0 last night. Wow, I love to hear that. Stacks play today. De'Aaron Fox 8 or more assists. That was certainly money I left on the table in his first start, which you guys put out on a silver platter. Stacks play today, number 2, Dayton plus 1.5. Stacks heating up. I was thinking you should, I love that you have your overall Stacks record. It's great, but you should also put in your record this year because you're definitely in the black rolling this year. So you might want to have both because it'll make you feel good to see that successful record this year. Great to see all you guys. Spooner ready to get to work. Nut Flush Allen in the house, and there's Big O gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership. What a guy you are. And same with Rez Mob gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership. Absolutely love that. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the support. Blessing our action. Redbeard took the Rangers and Jets puck line earlier this morning. I love that. Slatsy coming off a 4-0 sweep in NHL. Joe Walsh going 3-1 in NHL. There's the Skunt Blaster in the house. A DTM 2357 getting the gift from our friend the Big O. I love seeing that. Great to see all you guys. So it is time to get to work. Lele has action in Worthy over 5.5 receptions. Smith over 4.5 receptions. Mahomes over 1.5 touchdown passes. Barkley touchdown. Hurts a touchdown. Billy Frieder giving us the final score. Chiefs win in overtime 20-17. I did place a $100 bet on overtime. You know what? I didn't even mention that in the props video. I only gave my SGP. That's a mistake. I wonder if I could. It was pretty late last night shooting that. That's a mistake. Jonathan Yim. Yes, my action is in, Johnny. It's in. The only thing that I've tweeted out, the rest is just, for us on our live stream. But the only thing I've tweeted out is actions 1.33 units, nothing heavy. I got the Eagles plus 2.5 minus 114. I got the under 49. I've been staring at the first half under for a long time. It's too late now. It's getting too juiced. I'm fine with just the full game. And then on, I have just little rec bets. I have $100 on a successful 2-point conversion, something that my guy, the Nuke Worker's on as well. I have a $100 bet on overtime at plus 900, just for a little rec bet. And I have a $100 SGP at 11-1, which I'll share for you guys right now. I have it right here. I've already betted. Now they're not giving me anything for the Super Bowl at this point, so there's no reason to. I thought they were going to give us some sort of a SGP bonus, but they haven't given us one yet. Saquon touchdown, Jalen Hurts touchdown. Both teams to score 20 points, yes, which is sort of a hedge on my under. Over 1.5 field goals and successful 2-point conversion. That is 11-1. 11. I can't believe I was so tired last night. I guess I forgot to give the $200 rec bets out. Slatsy says Mark Scheifele needs one goal tonight to become the all-time Jets leading scorer. Ilya Kovalchuk with 328. Scheifele deserves it. Truth Teller ready to get to work. Everybody ready to get to work. Great to see all you guys. Super True Story in the house. Ramon Scott, Saquon Barkley minus 350 here for the Puppy Bowl MVP. Wow. Saquon, oh, that's the Puppy Bowl. Saquon Barkley. Okay, sorry, didn't know what the hell was going on, Ramon. I didn't know what the hell. I had to read that a couple times. And Jimmy, Justin McKelvey says, I want everyone to witness the climb out of the hole. That's why no ROI or record this year. Oh, I get it. I respect it. I love it. Crystal Craig in the house. Chase J ready to eat. Philip V receiving the Res Mob gifted Pub Sports Radio membership. I love all of that. All right, so we're 11-14. We have a little bit of work to do here. I'm just going to tell C-Mac we got 5 games in the NHL, and I can't wait to cap them with you. I'll give C-Mac his time here for let's go 8:40 a.m. PST for C-Mac. And let's get to work, all. Thank you guys for joining us. Nate Dogg liking the Rangers team total over 3.5 and JT Miller to score. Let's get right to work, shall we? Plus 3.03 units last night. Avalanche -1 cash. Lightning -1 cash. Knights moneyline cash. Washington, Philadelphia over 5.5 cash. Utah -1 pushed. Utah, Columbus under 6 cash. Panthers -1 pushed. There's a big goal at 6 seconds left, or 12 seconds left by Sammy Reinhart. Kraken lost, and Seattle, Toronto over 6 lost. It was a shitty way to end the night. Thought I capped that card really nicely. Now, I've got work to do, but I'm telling you, man, I know I'm going to be looking at this NHL record and see plus 25 or 30 units. I just got to keep firing away here and trusting the situation. So let's get right to work. I like this card very much. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern with the Pittsburgh Penguins 22-24-9. 9-14-5 on the road at the New York Rangers 26-23-4, 14-11-2 at home. Chris Warren in the house says ready to make some money today. This is a great opportunity for us to deep dive into these games. No, we won't need to deep dive too much in the NHL. We got Needles in net for the Penguins. He's looked a little better lately. Alex Nedeljkovic, 11-9-5, 2.97 goals against average, 8.99 save percentage, 1 shutout. Igor Shesterkin on the other side, 18-18-2, 2.86 goals against average, 906 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Pittsburgh power play at 25%, penalty killing at 79.2%. Their special teams have been good this year. Remember how bad their power play was that first year they brought in Erik Karlsson. You know, it makes me also think, Nashville Predators, the season win totals, and to make the playoffs next year should be bet. It just takes a year for teams to get. Now, is Marchessault or Stamkos going to get traded here at the deadline? It's a possibility. New York Rangers, power play 20.9%, penalty killing 82.5%. Those will both increase with JT Miller rolling. This is the first of a back-to-back for both teams, which is crucial. You really want to know what happens tonight because it'll plan your action out tomorrow. Let's take a look at the line history here for this spot. And I don't care about the cash flow, but I do care about this line history. Let's get into it. We've had to move back to the Penguins. Interesting. Maybe that means Crosby is going to be in. Rangers at -190 right now, open at -190, now at -187. I got in at -190 on 365. At the time, it was -199. Offshore at the best offshores, and this got up to -202. There was a 16-cent move at 9:48 a.m. this morning towards the Penguins. I would believe that's just Crosby saying he's good to go, but maybe that is sharp action. From a total scenario here, we have a 6. It's -114 to the under. Open up -112 to the under. I thought very long, hard about the under. I'm still interested in the under. We got Spooner's action here in the house. Get that copied and pasted. Thank you, Spooner. Get that right above the college basketball. Apologies. There we go. And let's rock. Okay, so look, I'm on the Rangers -1 line. I enjoy the opportunity to fade the Penguins very, very much. Penguins have their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 3-2 shootout loss at home versus the Devils on Tuesday, and they're at Philly tomorrow night. If they happen to beat the Rangers here, maybe I hit Philly even harder tomorrow. The only way I'll not be on Philly is if the Rangers beat the Penguins 6-0, 5-0, 7-1, 6-1, that type of thing. If they dominate Pittsburgh, I probably won't be on the Flyers tomorrow. Sidney Crosby did skate yesterday. Missed his second straight practice with the upper body injury. He was in a collision with both Luke Hughes and Eric Howla in the third period of that game. How he left, he was favoring his arm. Of course, he comes back for overtime in the shootout. He's such a gamer, man. Ricard Raquel will move up to first-line center. This is a key thing for you to watch. Ricard Raquel hasn't played center in, 7 years, 8 years. I mean, I can't imagine what he's going to do in the faceoff circle. I can't imagine him when he is defending not to move over to wing positions because he's not played center since his first couple of years in the NHL. This is so crucial. So, he'd be the left winger on the top line with Crosby. If he comes over to center, it's going to be a big thing. Crosby, 58 points in 55 games. He's got a point streak right now, 5-game point streak, 4 goals, 3 assists. He's an absolute monster. He's not missed a game since April 7th, 2022, when he was sick. They're already without Evgeny Malkin, which I don't think is that big of a deal. This is Crosby's 20th season. I hope you guys kind of cherish what we're witnessing here. He's averaged at least a point per game in each of his first 19 seasons. To put that into perspective, I went immediately to Nathan McKinnon's DB when I was reading that. It took Nathan McKinnon 5 years to average a point a game. Crosby had 102 points as an 18-year-old. He's a monster. Rangers coming off their second straight win, 3-2 at home over the Bruins on Wednesday night. They head to Columbus tomorrow night. Columbus is just a battered, beaten down group. Now, they do have Werenski back, but they're a shell of what they looked like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Vakanainen is questionable with an illness. Rangers -1. I think this is a great number, too. If you can get the money line under 200 and you can get the puck line, around plus 130 to 135, it's a great, great number. And Crosby out, says Slatsy. Well, this line's got to change dramatically. Or do we think that, this is the star player being out situation, which is something that I talk about with Slow Jams Arsenal and many others. This isn't a Rangers team that's going to overlook the Penguins. They've got a lot of work to do with chemistry themselves. I love it here. We got razor sharp picks in the house. We want Justice TV rocking with us as well. Turnsy ready to go. Lele, I like the Rangers puck line. I prefer a -1 line. And for those of you who aren't with us all the time, the books don't offer, not all the books, very few books are offering -1 lines because they work. They work in baseball and NHL, and they don't want you to have them. This is our link. We got it from the great Ron Crawford. So use that. If anybody needs it, just hit that link. That's to create your -1 line here. Razor Sharp Picks giving us his whole Gulfstream card. Don't forget, it was just, 2 weeks ago, he picked up $6K on a pick 5 at Gulfstream. Thank you so much, Razor, my man. Old E in the house. Great to see you, Old E. And Newkirk said that already just changed to -205 at 365. Wow. No surprise there. A Rangers -1 is a great bet. I can't. So you don't have Malkin, which I don't think is that big of a deal. You don't have Crosby. Who is going to... You're going to have Raquel, who's going to, what's he going to win? 1 out of every 8 faceoffs? I mean, they're down Pedersen, right? Marcus Pedersen. They're down. I mean, how are they going to be able to stop or even just be in this game? Because this isn't a Rangers team that needs to win. So we have Raquel, Rust, and Beauvillier. I cannot believe Beauvillier is a first liner. Bunting, Cody Glass, and Danton Heinen. Is that the worst second line in the National Hockey League? I mean, would Cody Glass, Michael Bunting, and Danton Heinen be your first line on an AHL team? I don't know. Kevin Hayes, Matt Nieto, and Philip Tomasino. I kind of like Tomasino. Noel Achari. This is just a very weak group. What's going to happen? Carlson and Letang are going to help? This is... Now, again, we've seen teams step up without their best player. We'll see if that happens here. Turnsy says JT Miller is an absolute beast. Yeah, Gary, congratulations to Josh Allen. There was a guy in the chat who gave it out to us, and a friend, but it was 19-1 at the time, and saying for me to get on it. And God, what a mistake that was. Speaking of a 19-1, Kenny Atkinson for Coach of the Year. Dan Kelly gives that out here at 20-1. Scheifele should be on Team Canada, Turnsy. Should be on Team Canada. I'm shocked. Isn't he? I thought is Scheifele really not on? Why did I think he was on there? Okay, but JT Miller's an absolute beast. We'll touch on this one more time about this. Look, there's going to be alpha male bullies Alpha male, and Razor says Mikey Money was on Allen MVP. Great call, Mikey Money. There's going to be alpha male bullies on sports teams. And, maybe they cause some issues, in the locker room or the dressing room, depending on what sport you play. But there are certain times that you're going to look over at your alpha male fucking bully and be thankful that he's on your team. And your alpha male bully is going to be the one that steps up at times in the toughest of situations. Now, it won't always work like that. But yeah, JT Miller's an alpha bully. Well, you know what? He was the only one stepping up for us in the toughest games we ever played in the playoffs for the Canucks. Where was toddler Shoulders Pedersen? Fucking weeping in the corner. Okay, let's roll on. Let's roll on. And Kong's Clips cashing Jared versus Defensive Rookie of the Year plus 1,000, 10-1. Beautiful work, man. You're an absolute monster. Okay, so Rangers -1. Let's roll on. 8 p.m. Eastern. New York Islanders 25, 21-7, 12, 10-5 on the road. At the Winnipeg Jets 38, 14-3, 21, 5-3 at home. Canada Life Center in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Ilya Sorokin and Connor Hellebuck between the pipes. So I've been fading the Islanders and I've been losing. They've won 8 of 9 games. They're missing 4 defensemen. They're missing Matthew Barzal. I'm watching the games. How am I losing? It's because Ilya Sorokin is playing out of his mind right now. When I lost in that Vegas Islanders spot 2-1, the Vegas Golden Knights outshot the Islanders 34-14. Sorokin, listen to these stats. In January, Sorokin was 7-2 with a 1.75 goals against average and .938 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Now, he's only had 2 starts here in February. He's 2-0 with a 1.49 goals against average and a .954 save percentage, which is fine. I'm going to keep fading the Islanders, and I'll simply add on the under 5.5. Easy. So I'm on both. I got the exact same line as I did with the Rangers, a line I really like, -190 on the money line, plus 135 on the puck line. Gave me, I think, a -123. Let's take a look at the line history right now in this spot. This reminds me of so much of Wednesday when Gokster and Jay Peasy and others parlayed those favorites together, the 3 favorites on that card, and they all cashed. Now it got a little hairy when the Blackhawks came back late against the Oilers because that was second half back-to-back for the Oilers. This total has moved 1 cent, just 1 cent. Oh, 2 cents now since I bet it. Now, I bet it at 365 because it was -110 on each. I'd be curious to see if it's moved off of the 110 here at because at the time it was juiced to the under offshore, and at 365, yes, it's -120 now. So that's great. 10-cent move there. Now, of course, these market moves don't always get you the cash here. By the way, Turnsy says for anyone who bets OHL, the Spitfires, he'll be at the game tonight betting the Spits and the over 5.5. And Nutflush Allen says, do you remember that text that said even with Sorokin in it? I do. I was even thinking about that when I was talking about it. But look, nothing is changing for me. Nothing. I'm going to fade the Islanders every game. So let's talk about it. So they're missing Noah Dobson, Mike Riley, Ryan Pullock, and Scott Mayfield, 4 important defensemen. Now they signed Tony DeAngelo from the KHL, and they trade for 5'9" Scott Prunovich. They're both little defensemen that are going to drive Lou Lamoriello crazy in the long run. But right now they're stepping up. What can I say? Also, this is so crucial. Okay. Now, again, it's possible that Sorokin plays both of these games. I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past Patrick Waugh to want him to. This is the first of a back-to-back. Remember, Semyon Varlamov is hurt. He is hurt. Earl Sportsbet says, does the Isles fade feel lately like the Caps fade this year? Well, I mean, Earl, obviously they've won 8 of 9 games. I mean, what do you want me to say, Nick? I was wrong. Is that great? Does that make you feel good? Is that what you're looking for? Does that put a fucking smile on your face? The fuck you want me to say? Yeah, it feels like that, and I'm going to keep doing it. All right, and I'm going to do it here. And so Jakub Skarek allowed 5 goals on 32 shots versus the Panthers, and he may have to start one of these 2 games. And if he starts the game, he's going to allow goals, but don't put it past Patrick Waugh to have Cyril can play both of these games. So again, like, even if the odds change drastically, you don't want to make the bet expecting a Skarkin net and see Sorokin skating out between the pipes before the game starts. So that is crucial. I mean, he allowed 5 goals on 32 shots. He did not look good. Jets coming off their 7th straight win, 3-0 at home versus the Hurricanes on Tuesday. Eric Comrie was in for the shutout, and this is a first of a back-to-back for the Jets. They play at St. Louis tomorrow. We got a lot of back-to-backs to keep an eye on. So there we go. Winnipeg Jets -1. Exact same line I got with the Rangers. Let's see if that's changed at all, because we saw that there's been a 10-cent move towards, and again, this is the same deal. So we've had a move towards the Islanders, a pretty big one. So this got up to -206. It's 5 minutes before the show started. We've had a 25-cent move towards the Islanders. So a big move towards the Islanders, which I don't care much for. So here we go. Next up for us is 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Nashville Predators 18-27-7, 6-17-4 on the road at the Chicago Blackhawks 16-31-6, 10-14-3 at home. J-Dub says he has to take the Islanders at +160. I get it. Yes, Lele. So let me do this again for those of you who are new to the show. You build the -1. That's why I put the link in the chat. You have to build it yourself. So if you want to, I mean, don't try not to be lazy with this. Don't just say, "Oh, my book doesn't offer it." Your book doesn't offer it because it gives you an advantage. So you have to build it yourself, and that's why I put the link in the chat for you to build it yourself. And you'll want to know how to do that, so you do it in MLB as well. Okay, let's roll here. Predators, Blackhawks, United Center, Chicago, Illinois. UC Saros, 11-22-6, 2.87 goals against average, 901 save percentage, 4 shutouts. Mrazek, 9-18-2, 3.32 goals against average, 895 save percentage, 0 shutouts. Nashville power play, 21.5%, penalty killing, 82.2%. Chicago power play, 23.8%, and 81.4% penalty killing. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We have Nashville right now -191. They opened up at -200. So we've had a slight move towards the Blackhawks. This has never gone towards Nashville, really. We've had 4 cents of buyback once it got down to -187. Nashville's on a 5-game losing streak. But we're going to go into what's going on with Chicago here in a second. This total's at 6. It's -108 to the over. This opened up at 6. It got up to a 6.5. Wasn't a legit 6.5. It was -118 to the under. So let's get into the X's and O's here for this one. This is the first of a back-to-back for the Predators. So they just suffered their 5th straight loss, 5-2 at home to the Senators on Monday. They host the Sabres tomorrow night. Luke Evangelista and Mark Jankowski are day-to-day. Luke Evangelista, the right winger, Mark Jankowski, the center, and Jeremy Lauzon is out with a lower body injury until after the Four Nations. So Luke Evangelista and Mark Jankowski can come back. It's possible. But Lauzon won't until after the Four Nations. Blackhawks come in off their 3rd straight loss in 7 games, 4-3 in overtime at home to the Oilers. And they came back on the Oilers. The Oilers were clearly exhausted. It was the second night of a back-to-back with travel. They were up 3-1. They let their foot off the gas, and the Blackhawks took over. But Jason Dixon is has a high ankle sprain. He had a high ankle sprain against the Oilers. And if you heard the Chicago play-by-play guys, because again, with that on hockey TV that I talked to you guys about yesterday, you can just pick whatever feed if you want the home feed or the road feed or whatever. A lot of places you can do that. Here, without Dickinson, they're not going to, he's a key face-off man and a penalty killer. They were panicking when he got hurt. They're like, "Oh no, what are we gonna do with that?" Because this is a team that with Bedard turning the puck over nonstop, and I know he'll get better, but they need someone like Dickinson. He has 7 goals and 16 points in 53 games, and Philip Kurashev is going to draw back in the lineup with Dickinson unavailable. So Turnsey on the over here, and we have Billy Friedrich on the under 6.5 here. We have Earl Sports Bets on the over 6 in this one. So I'm off the game. I thought long and hard about backing the Blackhawks here. The Predators have won 6 out of 27 games in regulation on the road. 6 of 27, and they're almost -200 favorites. Well, I don't think that they are. I don't think the books are idiots, but I don't want the Predators at this price. So I'm just off of the spot here. Turnsy says, honest opinion, are you building around Celebrini or Bedard? There's just very different players. There's such different players. Because Celebrini's a puck hawk. He's gonna go find the puck, he's gonna go get it. And Bedard is, has the softest hands that we've seen in a long time. The softest hands we've seen since Nate McKinnon. So from a first overall draft pick, I'm talking about, or I guess maybe Jack Hughes, maybe since Jack Hughes. It's a difficult situation, and I don't. I mean, right now Celebrini's better than Bedard in today's NHL. He's more helpful than Bedard. But 5 years from now, when Bedard's putting up 130-point seasons, I don't know if Celebrini will get there. I think he could get 100, but I mean, Bedard could go for 150 one year. So right now, Celebrini looks like he's more equipped for the NHL, but that's just because Bedard's a twig and Celebrini's always been a puck hawk. So right now, yeah, I would build around Bedard, but it would be very frustrating. And Celebrini's playing better right now. So, Billy Freeman says Celebrini also has Will Smith on his team. Yeah, but Will Smith hasn't even been playing on that line until just recently. But, I hear that. Celebrini and Lane Hudson were teammates at Boston U. Okay, that's Predators, Blackhawks. Let's roll on. 9 p.m. Eastern, Colorado Avalanche 32-22-2, 16-12-0 on the road at the Edmonton Oilers, 34-16-4, 18-9-2 at home. We're at Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta. So, there are a lot of people. We talked about this yesterday, that I thought that the Senators and the Blue Jackets were a trap. That Cappers had made a lot of money off them. They'd made a lot of money off of them, recently. And now there was roster issues, which were the reasons why they were such big dogs. I thought it was the perfect spot for the -1 line to fade both of those teams, because I knew that a lot of people would see that and think, oh my God, look at the value I'm getting. And here, the same thing is with the Colorado Avalanche. Have the Avalanche been a bigger dog than this in the last 2 or 3 years? Now, why are the Colorado Avalanche this big of a dog? And it's because of Trent Miner. He's going to be in between the pipes here for the Avalanche. And another part about this is both teams head off into the Four Nations break after tonight's game. I spent a lot of time sitting with this spot and thinking about it. And I had to move on the Oilers -1. Now, look, the Avalanche are a really good hockey team. JW, Avalanche moneyline dog of the day. As you can see, nobody is here in the chat on the Oilers, which is similar as to what happened yesterday when I thought the Lightning was a smash and grab. Look, I was fortunate for Gunther to score the overtime winner against the Jackets. Jackets have a lot of character. But let's talk about Trent Miner for a little bit. He's going to be in between the pipes for the Colorado Avalanche. In the AHL with the Colorado Eagles, he's 9-5-5, 2.49 goals against average, 905 save percentage. He was picked in the 7th round of the 2019 NHL draft. That was the draft that Jack Hughes was picked first overall. Interestingly enough, Trent Miner was drafted in the 202nd pick. Earl says, doesn't this feel like a step up spot for Colorado with the young goalie? If it wasn't the Four Nations break, I would have taken that whole angle with you. The second half of a back-to-back right before the Four Nations break, it does not feel like that. Now, it could happen, but also the line is extremely telling. The line that was set up was a line that was going to be legit, where the Oilers were at the opening line. And we've had buyback. A lot of buyback. But this opened up at -176, -180. When have the Avalanche ever opened up at +154? Then this didn't open up till 7:10 this morning, right? So if you go to a book that opened up this line early, this line was opened up at -160, which is where it should be, with the Oilers at home They should be minus 160. The Avs should be plus 140. But this opened up at 10:05 p.m. This went from minus 160 to minus 195 in a pretty decent amount of time. Now there's been buyback, but the fact that the Four Nations here is coming up, I can't trust that this team is going to rally around. I wish it was a different situation. Let's talk about that draft quick here, because Trent Miner was picked 202nd overall. Who was picked 214th overall in that draft? Dustin Wolf. What a draft pick by the Calgary Flames. So, the NHL draft only has 7 rounds. So only 3 players were drafted after Wolf. Miner has come in twice. So, again, when we talk about young goaltenders and young athletes, this is sort of a goalie coming in like this is sort of like a backup quarterback coming in. And when he replaced Justice Annunen in that 5-2 loss back on November 15th, he didn't think he was starting, right? He wasn't nervous. He wasn't in his head. And he came in, he played 34 minutes, 58 seconds. He looked good. He stopped 12, 13 shots. His lone NHL start came on January 8th. You guys might remember this start. It was a 3-1 loss at the Blackhawks. The Avs lost 3-1, and they dominated that game. Now, the shots changed a little bit late. Blackhawks got shots late, but they outshot the Blackhawks 36-20. He allowed 3 goals on those 20 shots. So Avs on the second half of a back-to-back. They don't have Josh Manson. They don't have Big Val. The Oilers are a completely healthy group, and the Oilers are an angry group. If you listen to Coach after the game, his press conference, he was not pleased. Now, everybody just wanted to talk about how incredible McDavid was in overtime the last 2 nights, but how did it get to that situation? Because there was, there were misplays. He was upset with the group. And so I think this is a very dangerous spot. I think it's a very, very dangerous spot for Trent Miner. And if the Avalanche, if this was just mid-season, I wouldn't think it was so dangerous. I would have capped it differently. But all these guys know they're done here. They're done in like 2 weeks off in like 6 hours. It's the last day of school. Are they going to fire hard on the last day of school? So I thought about it for a long time. I thought about this game until last night. And then this morning I was like, no, I cannot trust them here. I think that they needed to get that win against Calgary. And now the pressure's off a little bit. And we're going to see Trent Miner sort of thrown to the wolves. Now, again, if Josh Manson was in front of the net, that would help a great deal. So I'm on the Oilers on the -1 line. It was just 1 cent worse for me. But we've seen moves now. It's interesting now that Crosby's announced out, the Rangers are -205 over here. But before that, the Predators were the biggest favorite on the board tonight, which is a surprise. Nate Dogg is on the Kings money line. Kempe 1 assist and Moore 2 shots on goal. Slide says that total's gone under 6 straight and Stars Kings. Stars 4-1 last 5. Kings have scored 1 goal or less in 4 losses. And on the other side, Kings are 11-1 last 12 home games. Let's get into that spot here. This is our last spot on the board here in NHL. 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Dallas Stars 34-18-1, 14-11-0 on the road at the LA Kings 28-17-6, 16-3-1 at home. Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California. I sat with this game for a long time too, just staring at it. How exactly was I going to hammer it, and then when I was done, I just didn't feel like I had enough of a edge with the Stars, who have historically been so great on the road. They're 14-11 on the road, this year. They're not the dynamite on the road by any means. They had their 5-game winning streak snapped in a 2-1 loss to Anaheim on Tuesday. And not only that, Ilya Lyubushkin's hurt. So he joins Heiskanen and Nils Lundqvist. We know in the infirmary, Lundqvist is going to be gone for the year. Heiskanen's going to be gone for the regular season. We know Tyler Seguin will be out for the regular season. And now Lyubushkin's hurt. So, yeah, they brought in Cody Ceci, but that's not enough. We have Ottinger versus Kemper listed. Ottinger, 26-12-1, 2.31 goals against average, 9-12 save percentage, 1 shutout. Kemper, 16-6-6, 2.19 goals against average, 9-19 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Dallas power play, 19.4%, penalty killing, 84.7%. Dallas had their 5-game winning streak snapped in a 2-1 loss to Anaheim on Tuesday, or I would be on the Kings. But Dallas loses 2-1 at Anaheim. They were -210 favorites. -200 favorites. And this is a first of a back-to-back. They play San Jose tomorrow night. they've been. This also wasn't Wednesday. This was Tuesday. So they've been sitting there on Wednesday and Thursday, kind of sitting in that loss. And look, the Kings are 16-3-1 at home. I'm not going to get in line to fade the Kings out. And I don't want Dallas, who are fuming off of the loss, or who I expect to be fuming off the loss. Kings coming off their second straight win, 6-3 at home over the Habs on Wednesday. That was their first home game since January 22nd. Now they host Anaheim tomorrow night. Mikey Anderson out with the pinky injury. Looks like he'll sideline him till after the Four Nations. J-Dub says Dallas been living the LA nightlife the past 2 days. Kings money line. The interesting thing I think about this, J-Dub, is that if they went out, I mean, these guys aren't idiots. They finished their game Tuesday night. They could have gone out Tuesday night. They could have gone out Wednesday night. They certainly didn't go out last night, But I thought about that too. I thought, well, what are you going to do in LA? Well, you're coming off of a loss. Slatsy says, any look on the total? Let's take a look at the line history. I mean, I lean under. It's an easy thing to say with, Kemper and the way the Kings are playing. And you talked about the history of these two teams. This line is at minus 110. Now it's minus 109. So there's been no movement on the total here for this one. We have a 5.5. It's minus 120 to the under. It's minus 120 for a reason. Yeah, I like the under. I think this will be a tight game. Do I move on the under? I don't know. I felt so strong about those first few spots. You'd have to think that, it says 67% ticket, 65% cash on the over. It's shocking to me. Now we get that in every game in NHL. In that Pittsburgh Rangers game, 91% tickets, 95% cash on the over. I'd be on the under. In the Islanders game, 75% tickets, 75% cash on the over. I bet the under. In the Predators game, 71. It's like baseball. It's just people bet overs. I thought a lot about the over in the Avalanche Oilers game, but I didn't move on that. The under is interesting to me here, but the Kings offense did awaken against the Habs. The under makes sense. Right now the under's a minus 120. I wouldn't be against moving on it. The under makes the most sense. This is going to have a playoff type feel to it. I don't know if I get there. I've been trying to stay away a little bit from unders, from totals, not unders. I bet totals. Mr. Belvedere on the Oilers, minus 1 here in this one. With the break coming up, I worry for Trent Miner tonight. Will they rally around him? I don't know. Coming off a win, it gives them a chance to take a breath and relax after getting shut out in Vancouver. I'm on the Rangers minus 1. Redbeard says, think Dallas wins this in a 1-goal game. I agree. I mean, it'd be so possible to have the exact same thing that happened in the Kraken Leafs game in the Dallas LA game, where it's 3-1 with 3 minutes left, and the Stars or whoever's losing pulls their goalie. Maybe they draw a penalty. Maybe it's a 6-on-4. Then you're hoping that the empty net goal is scored, because if there's a power play goal scored 3-2 and there's 2.5 minutes left, and then the goalie's going to be pulled. One of the things you don't really want too close. You don't want like a middling close game, because then the goalies get pulled very early. I have interest in the under, Slatsy. I don't know if I get there, but I certainly have interest there. And the way these two goaltenders are playing. And also, remember, with Dallas without Lyubushkin, Heiskanen, and Lundqvist, I honestly would only look. Now, Lundqvist is not that important as a young defenseman, but I would only look towards the Kings, honestly. Mr. Belvedere says, what's the top spot in NHL? I mean, there's, as you know, when you cap NBA, there's things that here, Sidney Crosby's out of the lineup for the Penguins. Well, the Rangers should smash them, but we know that teams step up without their best player. So that's kind of hanging over the situation. In Colorado and Edmonton, you've got this AHL goaltender. Now, you guys know, if he was 31 years old and making his NHL debut, I would be all over the Avalanche. But this is a kid, 2019 draft pick. I mean, he's not sat there for a decade in the A earning this opportunity, but it does mess with the spot a little bit. So where is there a game that hasn't been messed with? Honestly, the Winnipeg Jets on the -1 line, I would say I like the best. Yeah, Sorokin's going to stand on his head, but so I guess there's slight issues to all three of these favorites. We have 4 -200 favorites, and the Predators have won 6 of 27 games on the road in regulation, so you want to cut that. And then there's a little bit of an issue with all three of these spots. With the roster setup now, we again with the best player out, we've seen things go crazy, but I think that the New York Rangers is the most is the cleanest, because you're not going up against Sorokin. You're and the Avalanche are a really good hockey team, so I'd say the cleanest is the Rangers. And if there's still a 6 in that game, I don't see why I wouldn't take the under here, or at least the Pittsburgh Penguins team total under. But that's going to be so low. I mean, the under 2.5 is going to be so expensive. But I guess if I was going to move on unders, I would have to move on the Pittsburgh Rangers under, as well as the Pittsburgh Rangers under, as well as the Kings Stars under. So I guess maybe I add them both. On Wednesday, I added the 2 unders late, and they saved my night. Well, they didn't save it, but they helped it. So maybe I add them both. I just don't see. I don't see how either team is going to be able to win faceoffs, have puck possession. So I'll look at those 2 unders longer and think about them longer. So there we go. Okay, so that's NHL for today. I've got 4 bets. I've got the -1s on the Rangers. I got the -1 on the Jets. I got the -1 on the Oilers, and I got the under 5.5 in the Jets game. All right, it is time to get into college basketball. It's time to flip the script and switch it up here. I went 5-3 last night, but still left a ton of money on the table, and still aggravated, and still sitting here with a ugly record, 79-82, 49.1%, -10.33 units. Ugly. Campbell was a blowout winner. Gardner-Webb struggled. Delaware sucked. Drexel was a blowout winner. Jacksonville State was a blowout winner, and then Tennessee Tech sucked. South Dakota State, now it took a little while, was a blowout winner, and San Francisco +5 won outright. So 5-3, but I felt like I left a lot of money on the table. Let's get to work here in college basketball. Let's bring on the star of Wednesdays and Fridays here on the show. And he had a great show with us on Wednesday. Where are my records here? On Wednesday, 4-1 plus 2.9 units. It was excellent work. His 2 best bets, talk about blowout winners, they give out on the show, were huge winners. I mean, Rice +7, they win by 15. Then we had Radford here, and Radford was a great look. And our friend Aubrey Travis told us that Radford +5.5 is a donation. Radford +5.5 cashed quite easily. Now it's funny because I wrote down 2 comments from that Wednesday show, and one was a incredible comment. It was from Lex Steele. Our friend Lex Steele says, "Y'all will fuck around and find the Wizards win by double digits." That was against Brooklyn, and they won by 17 points. So I put both those comments at the top. Aubrey Travis was quite wrong. Lex Steele was quite right. Let's roll here. J-Dub says Penguins have an amazing record without Crosby. I would take a look at those Pittsburgh Penguins hockey teams and compare them to this team. But you're right, JW. Teams step up without their best player. All right, let's get into college basketball here and bring on the star of Wednesdays and Fridays here on the show. Coming to us from Las Vegas, Nevada, we have Conor Mac in the house, CMC Music Factory. What up, C-Mac? How are you?
What up, Jimmy? How we doing? Friday, Super Bowl. Can't wait.
It's a big week here. Must be a monstrous week for you guys in Las Vegas. Excellent work on Wednesday. Let's carry that over here onto today, 4-1 day for CMAC. Let's bring on our next guest, the day off today. So he will be rocking with us for the entire college basketball breakdown. Please welcome our guy. His best bets have been crushing here in the chat. Please welcome Morgan Spooner to the telecast. Spoondog, how are you?
Great. How you doing today, C-Mac? How you doing, Jimmy? Nice to see you, chat. Win
Great.
some money today.
Let's do that. Great to see you, my friend. I see your action here in the chat. And we have best bets as well from the star of Medicaid Mondays, as well as the Starting Five, our big college basketball and NBA basketball show that takes place at 10:45 a.m. every Saturday. And best bet number one leads us off for the card. So please welcome a four-headed monster here to get rolling. Our friend from Dallas, Texas, Mr. Dabra Kadabra to the show. Daby, how are you?
Jimmy, Morgan, C-Mac, chat. Good, man. I was just going over tomorrow because, I got to get Jose the graphics. We have a loaded college basketball card tomorrow. When I get to like 1 o'clock and I've already seen 4 or 5 games that are that I'm interested in, that means it's going to be a really good day.
I'm excited. We got a huge sports weekend ahead of us. We've had best bets come in too from the chat. Morgan Spooner's dropped his action, and his play of the day is going right up into the face of the market. So it's going to be fun to hear him talk about that one. We got Pig Milk play today. That's St. Louis plus 6.5. We have Princeton -7 as Gerald Jones's best bet. Let's get to work, fellas. 7 p.m. Eastern. We have the USC Trojans 13-9, 5-6 in the Big Ten at the number 7 Purdue Boilermakers 18-5, 10-2 in the Big Ten. We're at Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, Indiana. Wager Detective says 14.5 is ridiculous. USC or nothing. Let's set up the odds, and then we're going to start going around the horn here to listen to our cappers. This is a Daby Cab best bet spot, so we will start with the Magic Man, Dabra Kadabra. We have USC right now plus 14 at -113. Juice towards them. This opened up at -4 or plus 14 -108, so they've taken 5 cents of juice. USC has. This did drop down to 13.5 about an hour and a half after it was first available, and it's come back to 14. We saw very similar line movement in the Bryant game against Albany. That went from 12 to 11.5 and kind of closed 11.5, and Albany wins outright. This totals at 147 -119 to the under. This opened up at 147.5. Let's get into the cash flow here for this spot, and we should have all of that info here, and we do for this one. 63% of the tickets and 56% of the cash at this point is on USC. 70% of tickets and 72% of cash is on the over. A funny spot here. You heard Mr. Belvedere talk about how we shouldn't be looking at the Action Network for the information for the cash flow. And, yesterday I went with Troy on the phone with Troy. We went back and looked at the tickets and money from the games that we'd already capped 24 hours later, and they were completely different. And we're hoping, that's just the very, very late action coming in, changing everything, and the bulk of the action coming in late, changing everything drastically. But spots that were public all of a sudden had 9% of the tickets and 10% of the cash, and that really made me nervous, focusing too much here on the cash flow. But that is the cash flow here for this. 70 and 72 on the over, and on the spread, we have 63 and 56. I'll add more to this spot in a second, but let's get right to Daby Cab. Take it away, Trojans, Boilermakers.
Yeah. So my bet is pending Desmond Claude. I need him to be in. I wanted USC first half here. Shout out to Wine Time. He put it in the chat. He said, their tournament hopes just keep getting smaller and smaller. This is it for USC. Not maybe this game, but like right now is it. They're right there, kind of. I wouldn't even call them on the bubble. If they win this game, maybe I'd put them on the bubble. But this is an important game against Purdue here. And if you look at these two teams, both of them are very efficient on offense. Now they don't push the tempo much. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I mean they're in the low hundreds or maybe low 200s in tempo, but they're efficient, like I said. So the only reason I'm staying off the over, because my initial knee-jerk reaction was just take the over here. It's just the tempo. I don't want to take an over with two teams that have a slow tempo, even though I trust their shooting percentages. But both offenses, like I said, very potent. Where this game, differs a little bit is, Purdue's going to be a little bit more locked down on defense than USC is. That being said, if Desmond Claude is in the game, this is a ridiculous number. I think maybe it's moving a little bit in response to him not being in, even though as of right now, I've got questionable. But I'm going to say it again. This is an official bet if Desmond Claude plays. I will be on USC first half. If he's not in the game, I'll just stay away. But, this is a spot. Purdue 7-5 ATS at home. Their record is great at home, but we don't care about record. We care about ATS. So they are vulnerable against the spread. And USC needs this basketball game, like I said. And they've got scorers across the board. I trust them to put up points. I just need them in the game. I need Claude in the game. That's it.
It was an impressive start to this road trip for USC. They shot 51 from the field, 50 from three. They lose by 2 at Northwestern as 2.5-point dogs. If Claude is in, it is USC first half here for Daby Cab. Let's hear from CMAC. Purdue on a 3-game winning streak. Took out Iowa 90-81 last out. CMAC, any interest in Trojans Boilermakers?
I don't know, because I worry about SC here after that close loss. Now, second straight road game that they could get buried here. But one thing that's kept them in games is their offense, like Cab said, being efficient. It's been good. I agree. I mean, you need Claude in the game. Jean-Claude Van Damme, top scorer. But they got a bunch of other great scores for this SC team. But I worry this could be more of a Wisconsin-type game. I think they went there and lost by, 18? And Purdue's been really good at home. When I saw this number, it's just like you just grab these points, but I don't know. It's just kept me off here early. And this total's dropped as well. You talked about the pace, but the offenses to me are efficient enough. If this is in the 144, I might look to grab the over.
Action coming in from the chat. Troy Torrance says road teams between 10 and 17. Plus 10 and plus 17. Total moving towards the under 18-8 against the spread in Power 5 conferences. This line's moving towards the under. He's looking at backing USC here. Dr. Booby's on Purdue minus 14.5. We got Foxy in the house. Good to see you, Foxy. Been a long time, man. Foxy rocking with us, and Chang Kim wanting to put a parlay together with our best bets. Let's hear from Spoon Dog. Here we go. Trojans, Boilermakers, Mackey Arena.
So initially, I was really looking at USC in this one. It's a huge number, and Purdue, while they're good at home, you can't lay that big of a number. But like Cabby said, you dig into the injury information, and it makes a little more sense. If Claude's not in, this is a team that in Purdue that turns the ball over more than anybody in the Big Ten. That's going to be really hard to deal with going down possession in the second half. I had to lay off it, but I really would lean to USC. If they're fully healthy coming into the game, Musselman really needs to get a couple wins together here. And a big win at Purdue is the biggest win you can get. He beat Michigan State already this year. If you take down the two big dogs, that's it'll look good on the resume at the end of the year. That's all I got.
So we have no action here from the squad here, but a possible looks for both Daby Cab and for CMAC here.
I read something that made me think he was playing when I texted you that I was going to bet this, and then I read something different at about 2:30 this morning. So it's, I can't give it out if I don't know. I gotta know.
No, for sure. But Troy Torrance is taking that USC first half. He is moving on USC first half. Well, you have some time here, Daby Cab. You're back to join us for the big one, St. John's, UConn. So let us know if anything has changed over that little bit of time. So we will see you here shortly. Daby Cab coming back for best bet action. Let's move on here on the next spot on the board. 7 p.m. Eastern, VCU Rams 18-5, 8-2 in the A10. At the Dayton Flyers 16-7, 6-4 in the A10. We're at UD Arena in Dayton, Ohio for this one. Let's set up the line history and see what the fellas think of this spot. We've got this total sitting at 138 in this one. 138 minus 111 to the over. This opened up at 139.5, caught up to 141 right when the show started. So in an hour and 1 minute, we've dropped 3 points. Now, it was quite juiced. Maybe it was really a 140.5. Let's call it a 2.5 point move. 2.5 point move towards the under in an hour and a half. From a spread perspective here, we have Dayton +1 at minus 110. Dayton opened up +2, and now they got to -1 before the show started. They got to -1.5 19 minutes before the show started. I had to pick them. Now they're back at +1. So it's been real U-shaped movement in this one. Let's see if we get a cash flow information with this one. And we don't have anything on the spread. We do have 74% ticket, 73% cash on the over. And we have nothing on the money line either. So no help there. Let's move over to the rest situation for these two squads. We've been capping them a lot, of course, of late. VCU coming off a very, very easy, back-to-back easy victories against the worst teams in the conference. Now, LaSalle's 4-6 in conference, but Richmond 3-7 in conference, nowhere near what they were. VCU coming off 2 smash and grabs after losing at St. Louis. Same sort of situation here for Dayton, but they've had much tougher competition. They lose at St. Bonaventure 75-53, ugly fashion, lose by 22. They bounce back, win in St. Louis by 8, and then beat Davidson by 6. Now, this is a weak Davidson squad, not the kind of Davidson squad we remember. But that is the situation here. Both teams played on Tuesday. Spooner, we'll start with you here. VCU, Dayton, your thoughts?
I'm on VCU money line here. I really like this game a lot. I think the public's going to try to get on Dayton. Dayton at home is a spot a lot of people like to play. It's a good program. People get excited about it. But coming into this game, Dayton's got some injuries going on. They're down to just playing 6 men, and Malachi Smith, their point guard, just missed their last game on Tuesday with a viral infection. I'm thinking it's COVID or flu because they didn't even have him in the gym at all. So there's a decent chance he doesn't go. And if he does go, there's a lot of players that have come back from all sorts of illnesses this year that have not been effective in the first or even second game back. This is a VCU defense that's top 25 in the country, top of the A10. That leaves Posh Alexander to go up against a really hard turnover battle. Like, he's going to have to go 35 minutes. There's no 6-man to go. If you look at the player matrix that Dayton uses, at the start of the season, they had 8 guys, and he's benched 2 of those guys. One of them was a guard and one of them was a forward. All he has that he plays off the bench are forwards. That's going to become an issue in the second half if they get in any sort of foul trouble. I don't know. I really like VCU here. I see a lot of movement coming in on Dayton, and I understand it. The public's going to like it because it's a home team, but I think we have the 2 best players in the conference as rated by KenPom on VCU. We have the better defense. We have a much deeper team, and it's really a circled spot. If you look at them, you might not think this is a VCU team that could win an at-large bid, but if they get this Dayton win right now, they're probably going to be in everybody's bubble conversation. This is a really good team that's got a lot of good wins over the course of the season. Losing by a couple points in the pit to New Mexico is not a bad loss. So if they go into Dayton today and beat up an injured Dayton team, this could really look good at the end of the season. I think Ryan Odom's going to have his best shot ready for him today, and that's why I got my money on him.
We have VCU money line for Spooner. C-Mac, what do you think of this spot? Rams, Flyers in Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, this is kind of a tough spot, and I think a little bit of a coin flip on the side, because I think when you look at it, you want to take Dayton, but I can't at all. I had Davidson on Tuesday. They were able to cover even with them at home. I can't look at the VCU's been very good on the road. The reason why is their defense and their length. They seem to just wear teams down. When I looked at this game though last night, which I want to get on here for my bet, is his first half under. I don't really want the full game because when I go through these two teams, is they get to the free throw line a lot. Like we mentioned, the Dayton bench isn't crazy, but both teams get there a solid amount. And they're decent from the free throw line. I think early in these first half unders, both teams got to be really, really hot for a number like this, which it could happen. But I find defense will be ramped up in this big game between these two. And one of these teams will be ice cold. So give me the under. I think there's a 65.5. I don't know. Let me find the best number
See
here.
what we can get here with the first half under. First half under, flat 65. Yeah, I got 65 minus 109 to the under. Oh, 65.5. Sorry, what am I talking about? I got 65.5 here as well.
Yeah.
65.5 minus 110.
Yep.
All right. First half 65.5. Under 65.5 at minus 110. This is also Stack's play of the day numero uno. He is on these Dayton Flyers. That's how the card gets started here for Justin McKelvey. Shout out to Stacks. Troy Torrance on the under as well.
By the way,
yeah,
just real quick, VCU in those two games where they scored 90, the last two, I've shot the ball the best I've ever seen. I know they played LaSalle, but 65%, 55% from three, and the other one was 52%, 44% from three, I think. So just making everything these last two games as VCU.
Yeah, something we're certainly not used to seeing here. Big O also on the under. So we have Big O and Troy on the under. Troy says VCU will generate more field goal attempts than Dayton, offensive glass and turnovers. JW says Dayton 6-4 in conference, VCU 8-2. So here we go. Spooner on VCU money line minus 118. CMAC on the first half under 65.5. Let's head over to the Ivy League for our next spot on the board. 7 p.m. Eastern with the Princeton Tigers 15-6, 4-2 in conference at the Pennsylvania Quakers 6-13, 2-4 in conference. We're in Philly for this one. We have action here from a Spooner. He's moved on this on Princeton, and that wasn't the only one. We had someone else here. I will find it here in my notes. But somebody else was on. Oh, yes, Gerald Jones. Gerald Jones on Princeton as well. So we got Spooner and Gerald Jones here on Princeton. Let's take a look at the situation here. Princeton bounced back from those two home losses to the Big Red and the Yale by beating up on Brown 69-49 on Saturday. And Pennsylvania has lost two straight. They lost at home to Brown 88-79, and then just got destroyed by Yale 90-61, 29-point loss from them. This homestand started with a win against Columbia, and I know Columbia 0-6 in conference, but they're not as bad as other editions of this squad. But two back-to-back losses for Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at the line history in cash flow for this spot. I've got the total up, so we'll start there. This total is at 145.5. It's minus 111 to the over. This opened up at 144.5. We've had a 1-point move to the over. And then on the spread, we have Princeton minus 7 at minus 110. They opened up at minus 7.5. So we've had a 0.5-point move towards the Quakers. When we look at the cash flow, we do have that information. 39% of the tickets and 16% of the cash. So not a lot of money on the Quakers. We've had a 0.5-point move towards them. 71% tickets, 71% cash on the over. Spooner, you have moved on this game here. Rogue Energy also on Princeton. Tell us why you are betting the Princeton Tigers, Spooner.
I'm on Princeton mostly because I think they just started to figure things out. If you look at their conference play, they've lost 2 games. In those 2 games, they didn't have their starting center who they've had for 3/4 of the season. They benched him. They were trying to figure out what to do down there. He came in the middle of the Cornell game, went 0-for-6 from 3, and the coach was just losing it. He's jacking up bad shots and trying to find a replacement for him in the middle of conference play is hard, and they have a freshman stepping up in CJ Happy, who's put up some great minutes this year. If you look in the Yale game, who has some big, tall players, and the Brown game, CJ Happy put up some great minutes, some big shots. He got the start in the Brown game because of that, and now you got a senior who wants to get his starting job back, and a freshman who wants to keep his starting job, going in to play a Penn team who really relies on a big man down low named Nick Spinozzo. He's Penn's offense. They go to him. I think he's the most used player in the conference. So if you can shut him down, you can shut down Penn. And you got two motivated big men down low that are going to be able to trade minutes back and forth on him. Also in Princeton, you have Xavier Lee. He's the best player in the conference. He's projected going the second round of next year's NBA draft. He can put up points. He can pass the ball. Also, looking back at the history of this matchup between Princeton and Penn, Princeton absolutely owns this. Under Mitch Henderson, they've won 21 out of 25 games. I think this is the layup they need to kind of get right before they go in and play a really tough Brown and Yale back-to-back on February 14th and February 15th. That's why I'm on it. In the last 10 games against Penn, they've covered 9 out of 10. This is just a layup for Mitch Henderson. This is his spot. That's why I'm on it.
Princeton Tigers being backed by Morgan Spooner. C-Mac, what do you think of this Ivy League clash between the Quakers and Tigers?
Yeah, I think this is Princeton or nothing here. I think you can lay the 7. What I was looking to in this game was, their team total, because I do like this over, nothing more than 145, because I think Penn could get enough, but in the end, I think Princeton just gets to 80 here in this game. I mean, Penn, this is one of the worst defenses in the country. And what I like to see, we do these Fridays a lot. Of course, Jimmy, mostly during the year, they'd be backing up and they play tomorrow. I mean, these teams are off, for basically a week here. No game tomorrow, I think, for both of them. So I like that. So I think Princeton's offense will be rolling here. I just want to look at their team total or go full game over here. I think there's going to be plenty of points.
Well, Nunya, the champion of our NFL Cappers contest this year, excuse me, he is on the Princeton team total over 76.5. It's the Nunya business play of the day. And Lex Steele, who told us that the Wizards were going to win by double digits against Brooklyn. He's on Princeton, says Princeton by 13. That is the situation, excuse me, we have ahead of us. So looking at the over for CMAC, looking at Princeton team total over, Nunya moving on that, and our guy Morgan Spooner backing Princeton here with Gerald Jones. That is the situation here. Let's roll on to the big one and get Daby Cab back in business for us here. 8 p.m. Eastern, we have the St. John's Red Storm. Welcome back, our guy Daby Cab from backstage. St. John's Red Storm 20-3, 11-1 in the Big East at the number 19th ranked UConn Huskies, 16-6, 8-3 in the Big East. We're at Gamble Pavilion in Storrs, Connecticut. We have a best bet here on the day from Morgan Spooner. And this market moving in the opposite direction. Right now, Connecticut -3.5. They opened up at -2. Opened up at -2 at 5:56 p.m. yesterday. By 11:25, it was a 2.5. Then 8 this morning, it turns to a 3. Then at 9 this morning, this is a 4.5.
I thought it opened at 1.
It opened at 1.5 again with limits at 2 in the afternoon. So as you guys know, there's one offshore that opens up at 5:45 that I think is the sharpest, that opens without limits. Now, I've heard they do limit some of their clients, but they claim that they don't. So I don't I don't quite count. And I was talking, Troy doesn't, there's other cappers who don't count that 2 p.m. line, but you're welcome to count it. Yes, it opened at 1.5. I have this opening up at 5:56 p.m. at 2. It got up to 4.5, and this 4.5 at 9:54 a.m. was juiced towards Connecticut. So we've had buyback. We've now had a 1.5 move towards UConn. When we get to the total here in this one, we have it sitting at 141 minus 107 to the under. I see 141.5. This is just a 141, and this is exactly where it opened. This total not immediately, at midnight it shot up to 142. Then it dropped back to 141 again a few hours later. So very little movement on the total. The Juice says the Johnny streak ends tonight. Rogue Energy says smart people will take St. John's. I'm not one of those people. UConn. Nasty Nate says St. John been paying me. Mr. Belvedere says Connecticut getting McNeely back tonight with a stoked up Gamble Pavilion $2 Miller Light night. He's all in on UConn. Troy Torrance wants St. John's. Troy Torrance says home team's price between -3 and -6 line moving to the home team. Home team top 50 in offensive efficiency. Road team top 50 in defensive efficiency. Home team is 10-2 against the spread, winning by 13.3 points on average. He's got 2 units on. So I think he said he wanted St. John. Sorry. So then let me do that because that doesn't make sense with his breakdown because he's got 2 units on UConn. The Juice talking about McNeely back here. So let's take a look at the cash flow. We'll have all that information here. This is a huge, huge basketball game. We have on the spread, that's all we have. 59% of tickets, 68% cash on UConn. On the total, 77% of tickets, 81% cash on the over. Wine Time saying he would only bet UConn, and Kripke says it's St. John all day. Daby Cab, best bet for you. Take it away, St. John's, UConn.
Man, I went back and forth here. My first knee-jerk reaction was what Nate said. I wanted to take the points with St. John in the first half. It just felt like a safe bet. But, I mean, you got to look at it, right? So you got one team in St. John's that's, riding right here. And then UConn, where they're used to being right here, and they're kind of like right here right now. If you look at the setup of this game, right? At the setup of this game, it sets up so good for UConn right here. St. John's hasn't taken a loss in a while. They're riding high. And when you look into these teams, man, so like if you look at like just their points scored or their points per game or whatever, they look very average, right? But they get there in 2 completely different ways. UConn does it with efficiency. They shoot the 3-ball well. They shoot free throws well. St. John's doesn't do any of those things well. They don't shoot very well at a high clip anywhere in the field. They definitely don't do it from 3, and they are pretty bad at the free throw line, especially for a team that's 20-3 right now. And you add those 3 things up right there with the full game on the road at UConn, I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it. The way St. John's gets there, by the way, I said they do it 2 different ways, is they rebound, and they're going to be better on the boards than UConn is. But they're at home. UConn's at home. I don't see them missing as many shots. And I'm going to say it again, when you rebound the ball and you get second and third chance opportunities, your points per game are going to go up. But efficiently, St. John's is not there. Not at the free throw line, not at the 3-point line. Not anywhere on the court. So I think UConn over a full game here takes this. So I'll take 3.5 with UConn. I might be kicking myself for going the other way of what I first thought, but that's what I'm on.
UConn here for Daby Cap. Did you tweet this out or are we line shopping?
You can line shop.
So we can get that 3.5 down to -105. So we can get that VIG down to -105. Then we have the other side of this story, the best bet here from Morgan Spooner. Spoondog, take it away.
Yeah, St. John's is my play of the day. I don't even know if you need the 2.5. I really think they're going to win this outright. This is going to be a great game. Everyone's eyes really need to be on this. These are 2 Hall of Fame coaches. They both won multiple national championships. Hurley's obviously coming off the back-to-back ones, and his team's in a little bit of a down year. If you look at these 2 coaches, they've met 4 times in the past 2 years. Pitino was coaching at Iona for the first one, and he had that national championship team down at the half in the first round of the tournament. Pitino went on to lose that game. Iona obviously didn't have the players to stick with UConn, but Pitino then took the job at St. John's, and Hurley beat him both times last year, and then a 3rd time in the tournament. So that made 4 of these form. If you look at those games, though, Pitino kept it close in 3 of those games, and this is a UConn team that won back-to-back national championship teams. Pitino's pissed off about going 0-4 to a punk young coach, like what he considers Hurley to be. A lot of people really don't like Hurley. If you watch him, mannerisms on the sideline, it's fun. I hope there's a camera on it a lot tonight. The St. John's seems really gritty. Like Cab said, they're not going to win by knocking down a bunch of jump shots. They're just like all the other Patino teams. They play really good defense and they offensive rebound really well. I was looking at it. This is the 13th season he's had a top 10 defense as a D1 coach. So that's just absurd. I really think this spot is circled for him since last year in the Garden. I don't know if anybody remembers, but after the loss, he said he's not going to play in the Garden next year. They're moving that game to Carnesecca, and they didn't get to move the game to Carnesecca. But what he did get to do was get a blank check to pick out whatever roster he wanted, and that's these guys. The same starting five that started game 1 of the season is starting game 23 of the season right now, and I think RJ Lewis, Kadari Richmond, they're all ready for this. RJ Lewis is a top 10 player in the country. There's multiple NBA players on this squad. Talk about not playing a sixth man. There is no sixth man on this. This is all 5 players. They're going to play probably 40 minutes in this game. Davion Smith will come off the bench a little bit. I think he's getting healthier, but this is a St. John's spot. Everybody's going to be on UConn. One of their best players is just coming back. I really like it. I think I'm probably going to double up, not with the plus points, but just take the money line later in the day, see where things go. That's what I got on this one, Jimmy.
Wow, that's a great breakdown. So we have Cab and Morgan on different sides of the fence here. Let's hear from C-Mac. Red Storm Huskies, take it away.
Yeah, this number's a little bit, as it's hit, touch 4, and we see it come back to 3.5. I think people now all of a sudden want to jump on St. John's, and how could they not? This team's, been great all year, 4-1 on the road. But I think he's going to catch up with him sooner or later. As talented as they are, Richmond and everyone, they don't have a bench. And this is kind of a shitty spot, I think, for them. That's I think the fade of St. John's. Can you really trust UConn? I think as good as St. John's is on the boards, UConn's not any slouches here. This team's pretty, still good. Top 40, top 30 in a bunch of numbers. Now, they're down defensively. A lot of their numbers are the last 2 years, of course, where they just dominated, won it all. So the defensive numbers have been down, but the offense has been really good. I loved them on Saturday against Marquette. I thought that was crazy. They're catching 6 or 7 points. It's nuts. And they hit the road after this. I think they go at Creighton, and at Seton Hall. But big game here. I think the initial move was correct here to UConn in this game. But St. John's has continued to shove it to me all year, and they continue to win. So I lean UConn. I don't have a bet. I lean on in the St. John's game. I want the under. UConn's trend a little bit more over, but I think they really bring it here tonight, Friday night. Place will be rocking. This is everyone has a circle. Watch.
Both teams coming off those wins against Marquette, but UConn with the rest advantage here.
Yeah.
St. John's with travel as well. Well, we
Hey,
heard.
I want to just point something out with the chat because I see where y'all are going. Who was it that put it in there? Somebody said that this is a replay of yesterday's game, Ohio State versus Maryland, UConn early, St. John's late. The only reason that theory you just put out there doesn't work is Ohio State was the home team and Ohio State won. Maryland was on the road. So what you just put is backward, just to let you know.
UConn -3.5, -105 for Cab. Morgan.
And down the line, sorry, Jimmy, real quick. It's going to consistently, I've talked about it. We saw it with Michigan State finally, I think. Can you consistently they don't shoot a ton of threes, which is big, but they don't have jump shooters. They just don't make enough 3 big shots, and they don't make their free throws, which I think is going to bite them. It's going to hit them in the tournament. So, if they win it all with Patino, then I will say I'm totally sorry. But if you can't hit 70%, you're out in big games like that. But they've continued to got by. But I think that could be something to watch out for tonight.
There we go. That is the big one. St. John's Red Storm, UConn Huskies. We got 3 games left in college ball before we get into NBA with Wine Time Sports. Daby Cap, tell us a little bit about what's going on our Starting 5 show tomorrow.
Man, I can't tell you guys how excited I am for tomorrow. I'm telling you, if you have not looked at the slated games, they are beautiful. So tomorrow morning, right here on Pub Sports Radio is where you guys need to be. The Starting 5, we got 5 or 6. We say 5, sometimes it's 6 cappers that bring you guys best bets. We just get right to it. We go straight into the games, give best bets. We've been making a lot of money, man, going back to the tailgate. So tomorrow we're going to continue that trend. So tune in tomorrow morning. Everybody be there. But thank you, Jimmy, Spoon, C-Mac, everybody in the chat, man. I love you guys, and I love doing this with y'all. Let's make some fucking money today, baby. Let's get paid.
There he is. Dabra Cadabra in the house. We roll on in our next spot on the board. San Jose State Spartans going up against the Boise State Broncos here. Boise State Broncos. We also have hit the Pig Milk Play of the Day. Pig Milk Play of the Day is here. Pig Milk Play of the Day is on. Oh, yeah. Sorry, that's St. Louis Billikens. My bad. We'll get to St. Louis here shortly. I didn't skip that, did I? Thought that we were okay. No, that's next. All right. San Jose State Spartans 12-12, 5-7 in the Mountain West. At the Boise State Broncos 16-7, 8-4 in the Mountain West. We are at. Oh, let's get this. Here we go. We are at the Extra Mile Arena in Boise, Idaho. The Spartans have won 2 straight. They beat Air Force at home 75-64. Who cares? Air Force 0-12 in conference at the bottom of the ledger. And then they beat Fresno State in double overtime. They have won 3 of 4, and even these road losses weren't so bad. They lost by 3 at San Diego State. So they played 4 decent games straight. Boise State rolling. They had that ugly loss at New Mexico. Followed that up by losing a tight one at Colorado State. Then they won by 10 at Nevada. Beat Fresno State by 22 at home, and then went into UNLV on Tuesday and beat them 71-62. Let's take a look at the line history and set this one up. We got the Boise State Broncos right now at minus 14.5 and minus 103. This opened up at 14. The initial move didn't happen until about 15 hours later. This dropped down to 13.5. Then it got up to 15.5. This was 15.5 at 11 in the morning. Stayed around 15.5 for a while. And now we've had a half-point move back. So we've had a half-point move overall to the Boise State Broncos. On the total here in this one, we have a 142. That is heavily juiced to the under at minus 119. Heavily juiced to the under. We did open up at 141, so we're up at 142. Now, let's take a look at the cash flow for this spot. We have all the information we need. 37% of the tickets, 64% of the cash on the Boise State Broncos. 75% of tickets and 74% of cash on the over. Here we go, Spooner. We know that your action took place in all of the first 3 games. But what do you think of this spot, Spartans Broncos in the Mountain West?
I really like Boise State in this spot. This is another one of those, if you look at the history of the programs, Boise State has beaten up on San Jose State over the years. You'll look back, see some 30, 40-point wins in Boise. I know if you look back earlier in the year, it's going to be pretty easy to see that this was a tight game. Boise State did not have any opportunity to pull away. But things change when you go to a home court in college basketball, and I think that close game is going to be all Boise State needs to know to open this one up. There's a little too many points for me to get there with. I didn't pull the trigger, obviously, but it was one of the ones that I was looking at closer than most.
It's tricky.
What do you think of it, Jimmy?
I think it's tricky to back a 14-point favorite in this spot. I certainly would not. Oh, let me get this here. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Here we go. I certainly wouldn't be. I know San Jose State's looked a little better of late. I don't know. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky number here. Now, I did move on Fresno State, which we're going to talk about at the end of the card. So it's not. I am interested in these big dogs, but not this one. C-Mac, Spartans, Broncos in Boise. Any interest?
Yeah, I'm tempted. This has just been the really, really shitty, like you were talking about. Spoons the spot in the past. And I think Boise State's been playing better. In the last month, that offense, a lot of their numbers have just been great after they really were struggling the first half of the year. Offensively, they've looked really, really good lately. San Jose State, this team shoots the ball well. That keeps them in games. And I think they played a little bit over their head. Can they continue on the road? This is what the biggie for me. Like, at San Diego State, they lose by 3. They went to UNLV. I think they lost by 6 in that game. That was tight. At Nevada, 11. Can they continue that? This team's been great against the number. I want them here big time. It seems a little bit just like take it. It seems 17-4 against the number, Jimmy. I've been on a ton of them. But I got to sit with this one. I believe this game goes over as well. I wanted to look at it. 2, San Jose State wants to get up and down. I could talk about shoot the ball well. Boise should have no problem getting theirs offensively in this game. So those two, I just got to wait here today.
Well, we will see if moves are made. At this point, nothing for us for Spartans, Broncos. But our next spot on the board is the pig milk play of the day from our guy Billy Friedrich. 9 p.m. Eastern with the St. Louis Billikens, 14-9, 7-3 in the A10 at the St. Joseph Hawks, 13-9, 4-5 in conference. We are in Philadelphia for this one. This total is sitting at 145, juice to the under, pretty heavy. This is another one that's bounced all over the place. This opened up at 145.5. This got up to 147 when our show started. And then 6 minutes later, this is a 144.5. Bouncing all the way and then back to 146, down to 145. This one all over the place. Overall, we've had a half-point move towards the under. On the point spread here, we have the Billikens +6 and -109. They opened up at +5.5, got up to 6.5. There's been a half point of buyback. That half point of buyback has taken place within the last 30 minutes or so. By the way, Billy Friedrich is on Boise State first half. And Nunya on San Jose State +14. Here in this one, Thomas Maggio did bet St. Joe's -6 and Rogue Energy laying it with St. Joe's. So let's just set this one up here quickly. Did we go? We didn't go through the cash flow. The cash flow for this one, we only have total information, unfortunately. We do have the Utah State, Fresno State information, but here 63% of the tickets, 58% of the cash on the over. So here with this A10 clash, you have a big favorite that is way below on the ledger, 4-5 compared to the Billikens, who are 7-3. You have a big favorite that's coming off 2 losses in their last 3 games, coming off losing 58-55 to Loyola Chicago and looking terrible while doing it. They shot 29.1 from the field and 15.8 from 3. Feels like the market is telling us that St. Joe's is going to be much, much better here in this one. C-Mac, why don't we start with you in this one? Billikens, St. Joseph's Hawks in the A10.
Yeah, you're just talking about it right there, Jamie. This seems a little bit, tricky, because when I look at this, I want St. Louis here, and in the end, I think they're the better team, playing a little bit better of late. I talk about St. Joe's. At times, they're a struggle for me to figure them out. This isn't just this year. It's been the last couple of years. Now, they have been better at home. It's kind of where you want to back them. They are 8-4. Awful loss. You talk about 2 of 3. They don't do really anything great, this team. And St. Louis, off of that win at UMass in that game, with some of their better players didn't have their best nights. I couldn't lay it with St. Joe's. This is St. Louis here or nothing. But I got nothing right now.
This is it's wild. I mean, and Nunya, I understand what Rogue is saying. He's saying that they're putting out a line. The market is the books are putting out a line that doesn't make sense. That's all. Now I hear what you're saying. You're saying, cap the players. I get that, but this line doesn't make sense. They're obviously opening up their arms to Billikens cash, and if they're opening up their arms to Billikens cash, then why wouldn't we be looking at St. Joe's? And then if we're talking about a team that shot so poorly in the last game, then I would lean towards backing St. Joseph's in the first half here. But let's hear what Spooner has to say about this spot. St. Joseph's Hawks hosting the St. Louis Billikens, Morgan.
I'd just say the line doesn't make sense a couple times there. I think the line does make a lot of sense. If you look at the other A10 matchups, we're 10-11 games into the series. These home and home matchups are getting traded even between the good and bad teams. Like you see teams like Richmond stealing games. St. Joe's is a lot better than Richmond all through the A10. If you look at it right now, they're a 70% home win percentage. That's one of the highest in all the conferences in college basketball right now. If you look at St. Joe's, they were missing Xavier Brown for a few games in the middle of the season. And if you look specifically at that St. Louis game, Xavier Brown had just come back. He hadn't made his way back into the starting lineup yet. I don't know that he's fully healthy in that game, and playing an A10 road game with one of your best players gone, probably not an easy spot to try to get a win, especially with St. Louis new head coach, not anything you're used to. So that gimmick's kind of worn off by the time you get to play him a second time. I think Billy Lane's been in the A10 a long time. I think he knows how to take care of home court. I don't think the books make mistakes when they set lines, and I think St. Louis is favored by that margin for a reason.
Or St. Joseph's favored.
St. Joseph's is favored by that.
No, I agree that the books don't make mistakes. I agree, which, I mean, if you look at the well, I shouldn't say ever, but if we look at the first time these teams met, Billikens won 73-57. The Billikens were just 2.5-point favorites at home. So if you look at what the line was, this line, when this came out, and this game was back on January 3rd, St. Joseph's opened as the favorite in that game. They opened up at -1.5. They closed at +2.5. There was a monstrous move towards the Billikens. And in that game, we have another game where St. Joseph's couldn't shoot to save their lives. St. Joseph shot 4 of 26 from 3 against the Billikens the first time they met. I mean, is this a real concern for the St. Joseph's Hawks, as they'll just completely shut down offensively? Because they had some really nice games. They lose 58-55 at Loyola, and they shoot what did they shoot from 3 in this one? They shot 3 of 19 from 3. 3 of 19 from 3. And then you go back, and I was on the road. You go back to their home spot. Their home spot when they played Loyola Chicago at home was on January 11th. They annihilated them 93-57. And we just talked about these two games where they couldn't shoot anything from 3. Here at home in this one, they went 18 of 33 from 3. And their starting 5 in that one went 15 of 28 from 3. I guess what I'm leaning towards, and I would like to know, sort of have an idea about the cash flow, but this would lean me towards St. Joseph's smash and grab. First half and full game, they're going to destroy the Billikens here. We've seen them shoot horribly on the road and shoot unbelievably well at home. I think that, the Billikens have been really good to their backers. Anybody looking at this would think the Billikens are live here. And the pig milk play of the day is on the St. Louis Billikens, and for good reason. He says, I don't understand the line. He's also springing the money line.
You're saying first half, Jimmy, the Billikens are another one of those teams that don't use their bench at all. And Billy Lange is the opposite. He uses a lot of players off the bench. He's already lost this matchup once, and he's got to be looking for ways to how I can beat this team the second time. One of those ways is going to be trying to get some of their better players in foul trouble. You look down low. If you can get their big man in foul trouble, I think this whole St. Louis team kind of falls apart. That's their entire identity as a team. St. Louis isn't going to give this game up easy. I don't know about smash and grab spot, but I think this is a nice St. Joe spot.
Wow. Anything you want to add to this, CMAC, before we move on?
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, it could happen. You know, they could shoot the ball well, but these teams do it all the time. But they haven't covered at home really all year. 3-9 ATS. They had a couple decent wins. Like they beat up on Loyola. I know they had some players out. They've had a couple big wins, but other than that, they either lost at home or they won the game. And they haven't covered. So I don't know if. I lean under as well. I mean, St. Louis has been a very good under team. That's St. Joe's. If they don't shoot it well, this is definitely going under.
I'm interested. I'm very interested in St. Joseph's, and I guess with the info from Morgan, it would just have to be a full game spot and not a first half spot. Very interested in the spot here. That's a great breakdown. Now, Utah State, Fresno State, our final spot here in college basketball on the board. I didn't want the Fresno State full game. I wanted them the first half, but it wasn't available. So I saw the line moving towards Fresno State, and I kind of this doesn't work well for me. I kind of panicked and bet them plus 12.5, minus 109. It had moved to 12 at 365, and I kind of panicked. And then I don't remember what time I bet this. Maybe midnight or something like that. Then an hour and a half, 2 hours later, this had moved back. This was now moving back towards Utah State. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll stay off of, the first half. Maybe I've made a mistake here in this one. Now we see it moving again back to Fresno State, which should lead me towards the first half again. And then that would be a double up spot, which makes me a little uncomfortable. This opened up with Fresno State at plus 13. They're now plus 11.5. They moved to 11.5 20 minutes after the show started. So I didn't know that had happened. When we get to the total here for this one, we have a 153.5 juice to the over. We see mostly 154s, but this opened up at 155.5 and got down to 152.5. This was 152.5, 37 minutes ago. Now it's back up to 153.5 or 154. The 153.5 is heavily juiced towards the over. Utah State's been playing very underwhelming basketball. And I know because I've been betting them. I cashed a double up with them maybe a couple weeks ago. And they've not been delivering for me in situations that I thought were good for them. And then when I had them in a double up spot against Wyoming. They didn't cover either. They didn't look very good against Wyoming, who I think is a weak team. Sure, they destroyed Air Force. If you look at that home win against Nevada, that was my double up spot with them, because they just lost at UNLV, and I thought, oh, these guys are going to be coming, for blood. The only problem I have, though, is that they've already played a close game with Fresno State, so they know that Fresno State isn't bad. Fresno State was up 42-39 at the half, which makes me a little uncomfortable here, because they're not going to surprise Utah State in this one, and I kind of want the situation where they will surprise. But Skunt Blaster has moved on Fresno State plus 8.5 and plus 155. Says alt line, I want the extra plus monies. Fresno State coming off that home loss, San Jose State in double overtime. Their home game before that, they took a pretty good Colorado State team. They lost 69-64. They played well. I think Fresno State can stay in this. The question now is whether or not I move on the first half as well. Only 47. Oh, it just moved. So it was 48% of the tickets and 30-something % of the cash. Now it's 47% of the tickets and 42% of the cash. So bigger bets are coming in on Fresno State. But that was my plan, was to back Fresno State. So here we go. Let's fire off our final spot here on the board. Spooner, Fresno State hosting Utah State. Do you think I'm in grave danger?
I can only be on Fresno State in this game. I looked at it. I kind of went back and forth with it. There's better games on the board today, in my opinion. But, these are two head coaches in their first year with these programs. So there's not any real history to look back on. And if you look at Fresno State throughout the course of the year, you're going to see a lot of red, a lot of losses, but they played tough at home, like you were saying. They played a double overtime neutral with Cal Baptist. They won at home versus San Diego. They couldn't cover it versus New Mexico at home, but that's one of the toughest teams in the conference. And the defense and offense combo that New Mexico has is better than what Utah has. They did play Utah really tough. And then every other home game, look at Nevada. They forced them to overtime. They beat Air Force. I don't see any reason why Fresno State can't stay within 13. I don't think it'd be ludicrous to say they have a chance to win this game. That being said, I don't watch enough of Fresno State basketball to really want to get in on this. But if you're looking at the scores tomorrow and you're like, wow, Fresno State beat Utah State, how did that happen? You got two coaches that don't have a book on each other. And you got a really desperate Fresno State team here, and you got a Utah State team that's on top of the world. Again, my money's not on it, but if it were, it would be with Fresno State.
It's interesting here. Billy Friedrich really liking Utah State first half. That initial line when the first half came out moved towards Utah State. The first half line. The first half came out at 8:05 in the morning, moved to 7:30 at 10 in the morning, and then 11:20 it moved back towards Fresno State. What do you think of this spot, C-Mac? Our final spot on the board in the Mountain West, Utah State, Fresno State.
Did you say you got 13?
No, I got 12.5 minus 109. It was moving, and I did a quick. I was kind of late on it.
I think they're the player. This just seems like a sleepy spot here for Utah State. I mean, they've handled this Fresno team. It's not just this is bad. This is one of the worst Fresno teams too in a long time. This team used to be really scrappy. Didn't play this style of basketball. Played to the under. So a lot of these games between the two were tighter. Fresno, as bad as they are, 5-18. They've been pretty good against the number. I've had them pretty in a bunch of spots at home. Colorado State cover that 11. I needed everything though in that New Mexico game, December 31st day, 103.89. I needed, and they made a shot there to save that. They were 15-point dogs. That's what I want here. This is 15, 14, 15. But I think they're the side here in this game. Lately they've shot the ball better. I mean, this team's pretty bad from the field everywhere. They're not very good, and that hurts too when you don't have a very good defense, which they've had one of the worst, and especially down low. Utah State should do whatever they want here in the paint. It's just a sleepy spot here. Anyone want to go to Fresno Friday night? Hell no.
Also, it's a interesting travel spot for Utah State, because on Tuesday they played in Wyoming. So now they have to head over to Fresno State. Rod's Wacky says Utah State 6-11 against the spread is a favorite this year. Justin McKelvey's moved on Fresno State as well. What did you take saying Utah State 2-7 last 9 at Fresno? So I guess see, this is the number between 12 and 15 where I only generally bet first halves. It's just that I kind of panicked here last night and moved on it. And then I guess I'm a little hesitant to double up on it. We got the chillest in the house. Great to see you. Also, Wham Bam 3000. We got Kripke, Smoking Lovely in the house. We got a bunch of great cappers here rolling with us. Thank you guys for joining us. Rod Zawacki. So I don't think I'm gonna want. Man, this makes I wish I had waited and only moved on the first half. Nothing Utah State's done has impressed me lately, except for that win versus Nevada at home when I doubled up on them because they were coming off a loss. But even I did it again. I did the exact same thing again against Wyoming, and it did not cash for me. So Fresno State for me plus 12.5 minus 109. And I think
they're off 3 games, Jimmy. Too. I mean, either 2 or 3 straight games they haven't covered. Utah State.
They have not looked good. They did not look good.
No.
Utah State looks a lot better when they play at home in that elevation. They're 4,000 feet below elevation here when they're going to be playing at Fresno today.
Dan Kelly says, I just saw a report that there are numerous Philadelphia Eagles with the flu or flu symptoms.
I've seen that, yeah.
There have been rumors about it this week here. Yeah, I mean, again, when we're dealing with these sick situations, it's hard to tell.
Did the
what's
Chiefs
real
give
one.
them the flu?
It's hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
Good question. There's a lucky lefty saying that there has been good times in this past in Fresno State. All right, that is our college basketball breakdowns here for Friday, February 7th. We're going to move into NBA now. Spooner is on St. John's plus 2.5. That's his play of the day. He's 8-3 on his plays of the day here in our chat. His full card VCU money line and Princeton minus 7.5 at minus 102. Pig Milk play of the day is the Billikens plus 6.5. Gerald Jones Princeton minus 7. CMAC on the first half under 65.5 in VCU Dayton. Then Nunya Business play of the day Princeton team total over 76.5. Do we have? I don't know if I've seen the Respect play today. Is Respect is Res Mob dropped his action? Cab is on UConn minus 3.5. Him and Morgan going straight heads up. I'm very interested in St. Joseph's here. I think it's a nice setup here, and I would have been more comfortable to double dip on both, but hearing that the Billikens don't play their bench and St. Joseph's goes deep makes me think that it should only be a full game spot there, which is fine. Then we have Stacks play the day number 2 on Dayton plus 1.5. CMAC, is there anything that you want to add to the card, or is there anything you're close to? The over that you talked about in San Jose State, Boise State's an over that our guy Troy Torrance is moving on. Is there anything that you want to add at this point?
Yeah, I'm on that. Over 140, minus 110. And I'm going to take Princeton's team total. They get to 80, over 76.5.
Okay, CMAC here. Sorry, CMAC on Princeton team total over. What was the number?
76.5.
A regular VIG?
Yeah.
Minus 110. Here we go. Jerry Beatty says, hey guys, my local sportsbook at our casino here in Mississippi has Kansas City minus 2.5. I think it will go to 3. It will not go to 3, Jerry.
No way.
So if, in fact, if you're going to take Kansas City minus 2.5, you should get plus money on it. That shouldn't be. I mean, I thought when I got Philadelphia plus 2.5 minus 114, I thought that was a steal. I'll tell you right now, if you wanted here offshore, if you wanted Kansas City minus 2.5, Kansas City minus 2.5, you would get that at plus 117, Jerry. Right now, as we speak, Kansas City's down to minus 111 on the money line. And if you want Kansas City minus 1, they give you that with only 2 cents VIG. Minus 102. So, in fact, I wouldn't bet that. Jerry Beatty said everybody here is taking Kansas City. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Res Mob says no action here, but I wouldn't bet. I would go somewhere else and get much better. Here, get a much better line. I mean, that's ridiculous.
What do I
say?
I think you don't bet a ton too on the Chiefs. I think you keep your money live here. Especially if the Eagles jump early, which I think it happened in the first game. I think it's going to happen again. I'm just putting that out there. I waited, in the last game. Bills took that lead. I jumped right on them, plus 125. I'd look to do that. Now it's going to happen. I just maybe you want to split up your money a little bit in this case. Pregame live.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great call. And we'll be live here. It's not cheap to get the 3. I mean, plus 2.5 was 4 cents more than regular VIG. Do you want me to take the 3 at minus 135 or minus 130? I mean, it's not the 3 is the key number right now. If you want the Philadelphia Eagles plus 3, it's minus 161, and that's at a sharp, cheap offshore. The difference between the plus 2.5 and the 3, Nate, is 27 cents. So I don't know where you got the thinking that it was cheap. It's very expensive for the 3. So here, and I know we're going to move on to NBA, but here at 365, give you an idea to pay for the 3. To get the plus 3 here is, well, it's cheaper here. Wow, interesting. So the difference, Nate, between plus 2.5 and plus 3 at 365 is 30 cents. The 2.5 is minus 120. The plus 3 is minus 150. So it's not cheap at all. Jared Beater, there's zero chance it gets to 3. Anyway, like there's no way a book is going to give. There's just no way. It's just But yes, if you see a plus 3 on Philly, I would at minus 110. I would bet that as soon as possible because you're getting 50 cents of value right now. It's minus 161 right now for that. Rod's Wax says winner's going to win by going for a 2-point conversion right at the end. Yes, I hope so. I've got that at plus 260, and so is New Corker. All right, that is our college. Sorry to go into football, but just our guy Jerry in the house. That is our college basketball for Friday, February 7th. Spoondog, thank you so much for rocking with us. We've loved having you here. I'm going to pop your X handle in the chat. Keep up the great work, my friend. Any last words for the Cappers supporting the show, my guy?
No, just best wishes to everybody. Thank y'all. Have a good weekend. Let's get some money. Don't go crazy on the Super Bowl. That game's there to get the public involved. More people are going to sign up for a book between now and the Super Bowl than any other day, except when that book opens in the state. This is their chance to get the public hooked, and they want to keep them there till March Madness starts. So you're going to see some screwy stuff. The public's going to have to win some money because they need the public to get hooked. So have a good weekend. Be disciplined. Let's win some money, guys. Enjoy it.
There he is, Morgan Spooner in the house. C-Mac coming off a big 4-in-1 day here on the show. Stay hot, C-Mac, my friend. Thank you for rocking with us. Any last words for the Cap? I'm going to pop C-Mac's X handle here in the chat. Please support our guy, Connor. Any last words for the Capper Sporting Show?
Yeah, shout out to everyone. Have fun this weekend. That was great. Got to break into fucking Super Bowl talk. Come on, Jimmy. Like Steel, Rod Z, Rogue Energy, The Juice, everyone in your wager talk. Nasty Nate is always my guy. Billy Friedrich, Nunya. Yeah, let's keep on rolling. And check hitting the books. Me and Babano today, 5 Eastern. Just touch on these games, and then we're gonna get to Saturday, that big card. So go check out hitting the books, 5 Eastern for quick rapid fire Friday and Saturday card. That's it, my man. Thanks for having me.
I love it. There's Conor Mac in the house. It is time to roll in to NBA. Can't wait to break down this card. There's not a ton of action for us here with just 18 games. Is it 18? I think that I was one off. I'd forgotten to put the Spurs game into our list. I did realize that here about 40 minutes before the show started. But we've got a nice NBA card for us to attack right now. And I got crushed yesterday in NBA. What a roller coaster ride NBA is. It's just such a fucking roller coaster. Kong's clips with 8 units on Philadelphia. I love a Kong part of our NFL Super Bowl video. It's a really great Super Bowl video. I can't wait for you guys all to see it. Can't wait. Let's get ready to rock and roll here. Please welcome from Los Angeles, California, the star of Fridays here on NBA Breakdowns on Betting with the Bag, our guy, Wine Time Sports. Wine Time, what's good, man? How are you?
Let's go, Jim. I'm ready. It's Friday. The coffee's hot. The bong's packed. The plays are posted. I'm here with you breaking these games down. It can't get better than this, man.
You're right. You are absolutely right. Let's roll here. We got a big, beautiful card. And we start with Stack's play of the day. This is upsetting. I really felt like I left money on the table not being on the De'Aaron Fox assist prop that was spoken about on Wednesday. Very, very disappointing, but it is what it is. Let me just pull up the information from the shoot-arounds here, and so we can discuss any kind of last-minute roster moves. But let's roll. We start with the San Antonio Spurs, 22-26, 8-13 on the road. The Charlotte Hornets, 12-36, 8-20 at home. We're at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. The Spurs have been playing with the fastest pace in the NBA over the last 5 games. Now, we know things changed last game with De'Aaron Fox, but they were flying with De'Aaron Fox as well. 104.3 possessions a game over the last 5, shooting the ball nicely, 47% from the field and 36.8 from 3. Charlotte 0-5 over their last 5. They've lost 6 straight. 25th fastest pace, 96.5 possessions a game, shooting the ball poorly, 41.7 from the field and 31.2 from 3. This is an interesting spot. Charlotte is an absolute mess right now, but there may be a LaMelo Ball appearance. He is questionable. He's missed 5 games with the ankle sprain. Looks like we might get a Friday night appearance from LaMelo Ball. What a roller coaster ride Dalton Connect has been on in the last 6 months. Now he's in purgatory with the Charlotte Bobcats. Tough. Now he's listed as questionable here. I'd be surprised if he makes his debut, but this is a guy who's going to start playing 35 to 40 minutes a game, you would think, and get a lot of run here. Nurkic also is listed as a game time decision. I think we can expect him not to be here. He's a whiny little baby. He's not going to be happy going to Charlotte. So I think we can expect these guys not to be in the lineup. But again, none of that's confirmed. And the Spurs are a healthy group ready to attack. Reddish also, he's out. Okogie out. Reddish, also another guy picked up in the trade, but he's hurt. Josh Green is a game time decision as well. He was doubtful. Listed as doubtful. Right calf tightness. So it's a lot of moving parts here. Let's get into the line history and the cash flow. Saturday says, neither of these teams playing defense. No Mark Williams. I'm not worried about the Spurs putting up points. Let's get into the line history and set it up a little bit more and then hand it over to Wine Time Sports. We have here Charlotte at plus 10.5 at minus 102. This opened up at plus 11.5. So we've had a 1-point move towards Charlotte. That's a pretty interesting move. It'd be hard to think of anybody who is backing them here. But honestly, I did wonder if this was a letdown spot for the Spurs. But I thought, how could it be if they're still trying to work on gelling and all those things? But going to Charlotte, an empty stadium, is probably not a fun Friday night for De'Aaron Fox and Wemby in the squad. This total skyrocketed up with the same sentiment here that Saturated has, just skyrocketed up. We have a 3.5-point move towards the over, and now it's juiced to the over. Shout out to D Jenkins in the house. Let's get to the cash flow here for this one. We have, and we'll get all this information, thankfully. Let's go to all markets. We have 54% of the tickets on the Spurs and 49% of the cash. It's hard to believe that with 8,517 tickets in, that half of them are betting on the Hornets. 78% of tickets and 81% of cash on the over. Spurs snapped their 2-game losing streak in that 126-125 victory in De'Aaron Fox's first game with the team. Fox went for 24 and a game-high 13 assists. Wemby went for 24 and 12 boards. This is the first of a back-to-back with travel. They play at Orlando tomorrow night. I think that's a big part of this, is that they have the back-to-back with travel. This is the final game of a 9-game homestand for the Hornets, an ugly one. They went 1-7. Coming off that 112-102 loss at home to Milwaukee. Mark Williams gone. Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish in. Yusuf Nurkic in. But no Cody Martin and no Vasily Majcic. And he's been a big part of kind of keeping the shit together over there in Charlotte. So Majcic is gone. I think he's a nice piece for any playoff team. Nice backup point guard you can trust. Great ball handling skills. Take it away for us here. Wine Time, Spurs Hornets.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Yeah, just about 8 minutes ago, Josh Green got downgraded to doubtful. It's making way for Dalton Connect to get his first start in a Hornets uniform here, playing at the Spectrum Center on probably not a jam-packed Friday night, man. You mentioned it. Their home stand's been awful. I mean, listen, the best player, LaMelo's been out. He's been dealing with injuries. We know what he's capable of when he's on the court. He can put up a double-double on any given night, a triple-double. This guy can go off. I do anticipate him playing in this one. Listen, Spurs, we talked about him on Wednesday. It's crazy how much these assist props are juicier now for De'Aaron Fox. 7+ assists, minus 145, 8+ assists, plus 135. I believe, and 6+ at -330. I believe. Yeah, that's crazy compared to Wednesday. But man, they look good that first half, Jim. I watched that entire game. They're rocking and rolling. I mean, Fox was hitting some crazy 3-pointers. They're playing together. They were playing with pace. Vassell, man, this guy is an up-and-coming player in this league, along with Stephon Castle. These guys are good. This is a good San Antonio Spurs team. Young, these guys can get to the bucket. These guys can shoot threes. They need to be playing defense. But I like where they're going. I just think double digits is a lot for this one. We saw them blow a huge lead in a spot that you were on. Shout out to you. You were on those Hawks +4.5, I believe, on Wednesday. Cash or whatever it was. What was the line? 4.5.
The Hornets first quarter +4.5.
Yeah. And then no, against the Spurs on Wednesday. You had the Hawks, right?
Oh yeah. I had the Hawks, but it went. I think I ended up. It was moving and.
I think you got 4.5, but
I think I got 4.5. Because others got 5.5.
Yeah, the Hawks almost got that win outright, which is just absolutely wild. Kings kind of just let their foot off the gas. It did. I like what I saw from the eye test, though, in the San Antonio Spurs going forward. I mentioned how badly they needed that win. I didn't want to take them on the spread, but I knew how badly they needed that win. They got like a 1 or 2 point win on Wednesday. And with that being said, I think this is going to be a little bit of a tough matchup for the Spurs if LaMelo and Bridges are both playing in this one and Dalton Connect. We saw Max Christie go off in his first couple games.
So you think these guys could like?
I already moved on to Jim. I'm on the Hornets +10.5 -110. I think they can keep it within double digits in this one. I do think the Spurs win this game by about 4 to 7 points. But I do think the Hornets, if LaMelo Ball is playing in this one, which I do anticipate he is, it's a Friday night. The last game of a home. Is this the last game of their homestand, Jim, or second to last one?
Last game, 9th game.
Yeah, last game of homestand. I think he's going to want to play in this one. So expect to see him out there. We know what Bridges can do when he's out there as well. Nick Smith too. Smith, he's a good player as well. They did lose Mark Williams, but they got Dalton Connect. I think the Hornets are going to be able to stay within 10 points in this one. Just crazy. I don't usually come on here and fade the Spurs, but I'm fading the Spurs in this spot. I'm on the Hornets +10.5 -110 in the spot.
Wow. Hornets +10.5 -110. And you tweeted that out?
Yes, sir.
Coin saying Charlotte's covered this number the last 4 games. And Kelly McInnes, Spurs first half, Charlotte full game. Wow. All right. Hornets +10.5 for wine time. I'm going to need some confirmations here because I don't anticipate the market will change so much. Lingo Wick says, why not Hornets money line? Because your giant balls have been banging around a lot all week with these money lines. Is this just asking for, we have lost wine time. See, I talked about his balls and he bounced. All right, let's roll on to the next spot on the board. I'll take that note. Never stop talking about his balls. Cleveland Cavaliers 41-10, 17-6 on the road. The Washington Wizards 9-41, 5-19. Because you see me, he did that with his ears. Like he was like, is he talking about my balls again? I'm the fuck up out of here. Oh no, okay, he's back. Okay, he's back. Great to have you back here. I can't hear you. Oh, you're gonna need to. Okay, we lost him again. All right. Let's roll here. We have Cavaliers, Washington Wizards, Capital One Arena, Washington, D.C. These Wizards 5-19 home. Again, Lex Steele in the chat. Shout out to Lex Steele. It was such a funny comment. Here on Wednesday. Again, if you guys, every time, not every time, but very often when I rush to make a bet, it doesn't go well for me. But Lex Steele's comment on Wednesday, I have it right here. He said, y'all will fuck around and find out Wizards win by double digits. It was well put. Let's roll here into this one. Can the Wizards do the unthinkable and win 4 in a row? I don't think so. We have a pretty clear situation, though. All these guys are out. Marcus Smart must be extremely pleased that he's been traded to the Wizards. Same with Chris Middleton. I was reading articles expecting Chris Middleton to be like all gung-ho and ready to rock and excited to be in the lineup, which I find very difficult to believe. And Malcolm Brogdon is listed as questionable. So he's being upgraded. He's been dealing with the plantar fasciitis. Wow. So none of the new acquisitions are going to debut here. And if Malcolm Brogdon plays, he'll just be the backup point guard. But that's interesting here. that he will be in or could be in. For the Cavs, no surprises here. DeAndre Hunter not making his debut here in this one. And Donovan Mitchell is as probable, so there's no concern with Donovan Mitchell. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We have the Cleveland Cavaliers. Well, the total. We'll start with the total. It's 239 at a pick'em. This opened up at 234.5. So we've skyrocketed. This has happened again yesterday too. Just skyrocketing these numbers. Then we have a Cleveland minus 18. They opened up plus or minus 17.5. Then it went down to 17, and now we're at 18. Now that's 18 with no vig. So let's call it a quarter point move. So a huge move to the over and a small move towards the Cavaliers. Dan Kelly said Max Strus should have a big game. Let's take a look at the cash flow. The Wizards are at this crazy number with 61% of tickets and 56% of cash on them, which is wild. 69% of tickets, 73% of the cash on the over. We're watching it skyrocket. Cleveland 4-1 over their past 5. They won 5 of 6, but over their past 5, they're playing at 10th fastest pace, 101 possessions a game, shooting 51.5 from the field and 38.9 from 3. Washington 3-2, 98.80 possessions a game. That's good for 19th in the league, 43% from the field and 33.3% from 3. Cavs come in off their 5th win in 6 games, 118-115 of the Pistons on Wednesday. We were on the Pistons and I was pleased. I didn't want the game to go overtime. I liked everything. I like Garland a lot. And I remember when him and Sexton came into the Cavs, everyone thought that Sexton was going to be the guy. Garland was just quietly biding his time, being a good team player. And he looks like he's an all-star. He's an all-star. 25 points. He's rolling. He's playing very, very well. He joins Mobley and Donovan Mitchell as all-stars here. And, of course, Atkinson coaching the Eastern Conference. Mobley, though, what a performance. What a veteran he's become. 30 points, 9 boards, 7 assists. He's just playing really, really good basketball here. And Donovan Mitchell, that's only the 3rd game he's missed all year. This team just gives it their all. Now, this is their 3rd game in 4 nights against the Wizards team that's coming off their 3rd straight win, 119-102 at Brooklyn, predicted beautifully by Lex Steele. 40 assists. Koulibaly, Alex Sarr, and Bub Carrington will all be in the Rising Stars Challenge. But sorry, Alex Sarr isn't playing here tonight. I was saying, did I miss something? No, he's not playing. So Chris Middleton comes in. I still find it very hard to believe he's just going to put on a smile and start playing 35 minutes a game. This is the first of a back-to-back. They host the Hawks here tomorrow night. Take it away for us here. Wine time, Cavaliers, Wizards. When I say that to you, I can hear Durrell in my head saying, "No, I'm not. No, you take it. I don't want. He's like,
yeah.
You're saying it.
This is an ugly game right here. I mean, this is one of the best teams in the league against probably the worst team in the league. Wizards, crazy, pulling off 3 straight victories here. Last couple of games. Yeah, I'm curious to see if Chris Middleton's going to be playing tonight, or is he projected to start? No, I don't see him projected. I mean, they got Rashad Holmes starting at center, man. That's how you know how bad it is. That guy's so slow when he moves around. When I watched him in that first quarter against the Nets, I just couldn't believe that he was an NBA player. And he's starting, but shout out to him for, staying in there. I don't know. This seems like Cavs win this game by 20 to 25 points. If you're looking at the spread, you're looking at, Wizards feeling themselves the last 3 games, winning more of these last 3 games than they pretty much have all year. Cleveland, one of the best teams in the NBA. I don't personally have a play on this game. I could only lean towards the Cavaliers on this big spread. There's no way in hell I'm taking the Washington Wizards plus 18 because Cleveland's just that much better than them all around. And I do think Donovan Mitchell's going to be playing in this one. I could only take the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they beat these guys by 20, 25 points. I might kick myself, for not taking it. I wanted to take OKC on Wednesday when they were that huge spread as well. And some of these huge spreads we just got to take. And we got another one coming up too that, I might move on. We'll see. But this one, as of right now, I'm going to stay off of this game because I do think Cavaliers can beat these guys by 20 plus. It's just, I don't know if I want to lay it here.
What a train wreck. Awful. I remember when we used to go down to Cleveland to watch LeBron because it was cheaper to go down to Cleveland, get a hotel, than get tickets for LeBron here. And my wife's trying to get me to go to Pittsburgh in a week and a half to watch the Leafs play because tickets are $45 and it's cheaper to go down to Pittsburgh, drive 5 hours to Pittsburgh, get a hotel, watch the Leafs play, and come back. And I'm like, you want to drive to Pittsburgh next week? I respect that she's pushing it. All right, let's move past that game. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Milwaukee Bucks 27-22. Kripke saying Wiz could slip in a cover pass. Yeah, it's not fun. Steve Miller looking at first half Cleveland minus 10.5. And Coin saying Hunter was a nice get for the Cavs. Solid starting 5 down, no doubt. What a team there. All right, we got Bucks Hawks here. Bucks Hawks, and I believe Wager Detective was talking about it here in the chat. It says Bucks versus Hawks have only gone over the total sets tonight 6 times in the last 36 meetings. Here we go. Bucks Hawks, State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Bucks 27-22, 10-14 on the road. Hawks 23-28, 11-12 at home. Both teams 1-4 of their past 5. Atlanta, though, tied with the Spurs for the fastest pace in the league over that stanza, 104.3 possessions a game, while Milwaukee is averaging 100 possessions a game. That's 14th in the league. Milwaukee shooting 45.8 from the field and 37.4 from 3. Atlanta shooting 48.1 from the field and 34.7 from 3 over that 5-game stretch. We go to this spread. We have the Atlanta Hawks plus 5.5 here. They opened up plus 6. They got up to 6.5. They got up to 7. It was at 7 this morning, and now it's down to 5.5, which was a very similar market movement to the Wednesday spot, right? Let's just go back to that Wednesday market movement here when Atlanta covered. That closed at a 4. It was a no vig 4. But yeah, that opened up at 5.5, around midnight. It moved to 5. And then in the morning, it was 4.5. Closed at 4. And they covered. Interesting. So we have the very, very similar line movement towards the Hawks here in this one. So we've got to move towards the Hawks 1.5, which is exactly what happened on Wednesday. When we get to the cash flow, we have 50-50 on the spread and 50-50 with the money. I don't think I've ever seen that. 67% of tickets, 71% of cash on the over. That over, huge number. Last Wednesday, 2 days ago, you took the over in this game. It was the highest on the board. It was 241.5. It got up to 243, I believe, by showtime, and they ended up at 251. You covered it with ease. Here, this total is sitting right now at 242.5. This opened up at 239.5. It's been skyrocketing. And then if you want to go to the opener in the afternoon, it was 238 flat. So we've got a huge move to the over. The angle of taking the over on the highest total on the board seems to be, catching steam, something that you've done with great success. Wine time. Bucks snapped their 4-game losing streak with a 112-102 win at Charlotte on Wednesday. Giannis Antetokounmpo has missed the last 2 games. He didn't play on Monday because of right knee soreness, and we thought he was going to play on Wednesday, but he was a late scratch due to tightness in his left calf. Sure making the NBA fun, Giannis. He went through warm-ups and was in the starting lineup, so just for the ticket holders, just to see him there for 15 minutes. God, it's fucking annoying. So let's take a look and see the plan here after shoot around. We have, everybody's a game time decision. One of those guys is Kyle Kuzma. He's a game time decision. There's no word whether he will be in the lineup tonight. Von Polo says, Buck smash. My birthday tomorrow. Can I get a pick? And Von Polo on the Wizards tonight. Ronnie Lofton waiting for Vit Krejci props. We have all of the stars here for the Bucks as game time decisions. So let's just quickly run through to see if they're in. Giannis questionable with the calf muscle. Could be missing another game here. We have Brook Lopez with probable with the knee injury. So Lopez will be in. And then we have Dame. God, what a mess. Is probable. So Dame and Brook are probable. Giannis still questionable here. Then we have we know Capella and Highland are out. Nang is a game time decision, but I would it looks like he's going to make his debut here. He's okay, so we'll see if he makes his debut. George Niang looking like he may make his debut here. Enjoy watching him play defense. Then we have Terrence Mann listed as questionable here. He was obviously part of that recent trade. And then Karis LeVert is the same deal, listed as questionable, part of the DeAndre Hunter trade. And then finally, we have Trae Young listed as questionable, likely to play. Okay, probable. So at least we know the point guards will be in the lineup. So Dame went for 29 and 12 on Wednesday. Bobby Portis went for 23 points, 17 boards. Hawks have lost 9 of 10, coming off that 1-point loss to the Spurs on Wednesday, and now they don't have DeAndre Hunter. Okongwu coming off 30 points. Not only that, he went 13 of 16 from the field to get those 30 points, 12 boards, 5 assists. He's the first Hawk to have 30 points, 10 boards, and 5 assists in a game this year. And this is the first of a back-to-back. As we have the great pleasure of watching the Hawks play at Washington tomorrow night. Take it away for us at Wine Time, Bucks Hawks.
Yeah, I could only take the over in this spot here, Jim. Spot that I'm still looking to maybe get in. I I lost the line, but it's all the way to 242, opened up at a 239.5, as you said. Also, this just seems kind of like a weird game. I mean, tickets 50-50. Hawks have lost 9 out of the last 10 games. I know there's some guys questionable for the Bucks here, but I don't know. Maybe this is an Atlanta spot, a Trae Young kind of night, Friday night in ATL. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm going to end up putting my money on it. I do think there's going to be a lot of points scored because I don't think a lot of defense is going to be played in this one. I do think Kyle Kuzma is going to be a go for this one. Question is if Giannis is or not. I'm not too sure. Atlanta's starting 5 looks pretty ugly right now, Jim, going out there. That's why it's like, how am I going to put my money on them to cover, potentially win this game outright? I wouldn't be surprised, though, if the Hawks win this game at home here. They've lost 9 out of the last 10 games. They're going nowhere fast, but maybe this just is an Atlanta spot. To me, because I think the Bucks are just such a better team. That's why I do think the line is fishy in this one. And it's not really moving right now. It's a 50-50 ticket split right now. There hasn't been a lot of bets placed on this one. 8.8K right now, according to Action. I could only lean towards the Hawks and the over. I might get there with the over just because I've been successful with it, but I usually beat the line movement. I get in at an earlier time. I lost 2 or 3 points, but I mean, if I was going to take the over, I wasn't hoping to win by 2 or 3 points anyways, but it's just the thought that I did lose the value on it. I still might move on this. I'll let you know. I might tweet this out. I don't know, because this might only get higher. And that's what I'm afraid of if I don't move on it now. But this is a stay away game for me, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Hawks win this game outright, Jim, and just a crazy Friday night in the ATL. Honestly, Trae Young has a huge game. Maybe these guys rally around him and they get a much needed win here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the writing's on the wall for the 23 and 28 Hawks by trading DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah, that was the huge trade by the Cavs. I mean, Hunter has been balling. I've been on his props the last couple games as well, just under the radar, and he's been cashing, man. He's been playing some good ball. When I saw that trade happen, I was like, that's a good addition for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Smart addition. Yeah, I agree. All right, let's roll on. Miami Heat, 25 and 24, 12 and 14 on the road. The Brooklyn Nets, 17 and 34, 6 and 17 home at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Both teams 3 and 2 over their past 5 games. Let's take a look at the line history for this one. This total is 210.5 at -109. I'm trying so hard to stay away from totals, and it was easy to stay away from this one because it moved to the over immediately. It came out at 11:58 p.m. at 210.5. Now, it was juiced to the over the time, so it's no big surprise it went up to 211.5. But it went up to 211.5, and it looked like it was going to keep climbing, but it came back to 210.5 and up to 211.5. It's bouncing all around that number. Overall, though, we've had a very slight move towards the over. On the spread here for this one, we have the Brooklyn Nets +6 at -109. This opened up at 6.5. It's dropped a half point towards Brooklyn. Let's take a look at the cash flow. Then for this one, we have 40% of the tickets on Brooklyn and 43% of the cash. A half point move towards them. 84% of the tickets and 87% of cash on the over. I mean, it's just screaming at me here to move on Brooklyn. I'm right with you, Ronnie Crawford. Ron Crawford in the house on Winnipeg -1. Also Atlanta +7. Nice work beating that line move. And he's on the Billikens +6 for Ronnie Crawford. Shout out to Ron Crawford. Winnipeg -1, Atlanta +7, and St. Louis +6 for our guy, Ron Crawford, star of the spreadsheet play of the day. Ron Crawford! Let me just get all these copied and pasted here. That is Atlanta, and then we have Winnipeg, and then we have St. Louis for Ron Crawford. Thank you so much, Ron, for making sure that we had your best bets. What a guy he is, thinking of us first, getting on his lunch break and giving us his action So let's get that here. Paste. Okay. All right. Let's roll into the spot here. Heat. Well, first off, these teams played a very slow pace, and Brooklyn's pace just continues to slow. They've been the slowest team pace-wise over the last little while for a while, but now we've dropped to the season low, 92 possessions a game over the last 5. And they're shooting poorly, 44.9 from the field and 33.1 from 3. Miami 3-2 over the past 5. The 23rd fastest pace, 97.34 possessions a game, 48.1 from the field, and 36.3 from 3. It's funny. Jimmy Butler can't be counted on in practice or in meaningless games or when things aren't of high priority. And so you bring in Andrew Wiggins, who's the same shit. It's the same shit. So enjoy that, Pat. We have. Then I looked at the cash flow. Sorry, yes, 40 and 43. The Heat coming off their second win in 3 games, 108-101 at the Sixers on Wednesday. Wiggins, Kyle Anderson from Golden State come in, and Butler finally gone. So Wiggins will be a nice piece, though. He'll look probably pretty good beside Bam. You would think that Wiggins would be excited to play here in Miami. They just faced Brooklyn. Miami beat them by 9 at Brooklyn on January 25th. Bam went for 17 in that one. He scored 20 or more in 4 straight, but he had 18 in that 108-101 victory at Philly on Wednesday. Brooklyn had their 3-game winning streak snapped on 119-102 loss home to the Wizards on Wednesday. It was horrific. I mean, the Wizards shot 54.3 from the field and 46.5 from 3. 20 of 43 from 3. The Wizards. Keon Johnson, 25 points. He scored at least 20 in 4 of his past 7. And Cameron Johnson was held on to at the deadline. He returned after missing 6 games with a right ankle sprain. 17 points in 25 minutes for Johnson. What are your thoughts here? Take it away, one time. Heat, Nets.
Yeah, Jim. Game I'm heavily involved in, actually. Moved on a player prop as well that I haven't given out yet, but I have it right here. Yeah, I'm back on the Brooklyn Nets today, Jim, on a Friday here. I took them on the +6 -110, but I also took them on the money line +190 here in this spot. We're starting to see Keon Johnson come to life here, man. This guy's a good basketball player. I've been seeing him play really well, gelling with this team. D'Angelo Russell, still a lot of question marks about him. Playing 14 minutes last game. You watch him out on the floor, it just doesn't really look like he knows what he's doing out there. I'm not sure. I mean, he's still projected to start today after only playing 14 minutes. I'm not sure if there was an injury. I didn't really hear anything about it, or if it was just because he was playing so bad. Ben Simmons did play in the last game. Ben Simmons, not liked by many people. He's not a very good basketball player, but he does slow the game down a little bit. And he can get the ball to some playmakers if they can make their open shots.
He's been waived.
Oh, he has been?
Yeah, so he's either going to play for the Cavs. They bought him out. So
oh, wow.
He's either going to be on the Cavs or the Clippers.
Damn. Okay. Wow, that's crazy. So yeah, forget everything I said about that. But Cameron Johnson, man, he returned last game. He kind of looked a little sluggish there in that first quarter. He started hitting some 3 balls there going down the stretch. I do think the key to this game is to get the ball to Cameron Johnson and to Keon Johnson. I think both these guys are going to have 2 big games today. Cameron Johnson's a really good basketball player. He can knock down those open threes. I think he was 3 for 9 last game. He's going to get those attempts every single game. They're going to want to feed him in the open corner. And he also can get to the free throw line and knock down those free throws. His defense, he's going to need to step up a little bit. His plus-minus last game was not good by any means, but I do think it's going to improve today being at home. The Nets just, lost a horrible Wizards team. We backed the Nets on Wednesday. It was tough to watch, but I'm back on him here. I think this is going to be a bounce back spot. I think they're going to get this game outright against the Miami Heat. I think, and I'm also, I gave out the 2 plays. I'm also on a player prop right here. It's Cameron Johnson over 2.5 threes and Keon Johnson 12+ points. It's +140. I love it. I think Cameron Johnson's going to easily be able to hit 3. He's probably going to hit 4 or 5. Honestly, he's going to get 10 to 11 attempts. And Keon Johnson is just flying under the radar. I think in the prop market, his point props, it's like 13.5 right now. So we're getting a little juicier of a number, but I see no reason why he can't get 12+ points here in this spot. I think he's going to have a night. I think the Brooklyn Nets win this game outright. You're going to get closer to your win total when it comes down to it after this game. I think Miami Heat, Wiggins, is he going to be playing in this one?
No.
Okay, yeah, because he's not even projected to Yeah, I'm on the Nets, Jim, in this spot. I'm on them +6, -110. I'm on a money line +190. The line's kind of been moving up and down. It moved to a +5.5. It's back to a +6, I believe, right now. So you can still get that same number. And I think they win this game outright. I think they're going to get it done here at home.
Yeah, I'm going to join. I'm not going to join you on the money line, but I'm going to join you here. It's interesting. JW saying, how if you can't score on the Wizards, definitely not scoring on the Heat. If you watch Brooklyn play and if you make money on them, and we have, one time and I have, the only good thing I've done is I didn't bet them live when they went down. And I thought about it, but I was like, this isn't the type of team. I always think that when you make a live bet, you believe you have an advantage. And there's some things that haven't gone your way. Wine Time and I were talking to each other last night through text message. We both moved on the Warriors because the Lakers were shooting from 3.
LeBron went on a 9-0 run by himself, one of them from half court. Just absolutely wild, man. If Braden Podolsky makes half of his free throws that game, we cover it, maybe even win the game outright. That guy should not be starting. I don't know. Every time I watch that guy play, he's awful. Can't make his free throws in the NBA. That's terrible.
Yeah, it was frustrating, but it was just unsustainable that they were going to keep shooting threes like that.
Exactly.
Same reason why I moved on the Thunder on the -125 money line when the Suns were shooting 60% from 3. I mean, that's just unsustainable here. But I wish I just hammered that one. But whatever. So what we need from Brooklyn is for them to play defense. When they play defense, they won 3 in a row and 2 of them back-to-back against the Rockets. Rockets aren't a bad team. But I hear what you're saying, J-Dub. I hear what you're saying. But Dan Kelly saying D'Lo could have a big game here.
He's due for one, man. He's due. It's just that, like I said, the minutes, Jim, it's weird. If you watch them when he goes in and out of there, it's just not enough time to gel with his teammates. I'm not sure what they're doing exactly, why he's playing so limited when he's out there. I'd like to hear why, but I'm not too sure. But we know D'Angelo Russell can definitely put the ball in the bucket when he wants him. When he gets hot, he gets hot. But maybe it's it's a D'Lo night, Friday night in Brooklyn,
By the way, Jose has made it back to San Antonio. So we are racing today. And we didn't race yesterday, so there'll be $100 up for grabs here today. $100 race up for grabs here today. So a big race coming up. And it's got to be camels. Got to be camels. So what was the line that you got on Johnson over 2.5? Cam Johnson over 2.5 threes. Keon over 12.5 points.
Over 11.5 points. It's 12 plus points. So over 11.5. Plus 140.
Plus 140. Yeah, Kelly, giddy up camels. And Kelly over in Calgary. Or is it Edmonton? Why do I forget now? But he's in Alberta. And, our dollar is sinking. So that 100 Americans, like 140 something now. For us. All right, let's roll on. I'm going to join you. There's Nut Flush Allen in the house. All right, let's roll. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Philadelphia 76ers 20-30, 10-14 on the road at the Detroit Pistons 25-26, 12-13 at home at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Both teams 2-3 over their past 5, playing a very different pace here. Detroit 4th fastest pace in the association over the last little bit. 102.2 possessions a game, shooting 47.8 from the field and 31.9 from 3. Sweaty Butcher on the Pistons, and I am interested. We have Philadelphia 24th fastest pace, 96.8 possessions a game, shooting 49.1 from the field and 40.8 from 3. I truly despise having to go to this report for every single game and stop everything. Go, okay, who's playing? Like, it takes a lot of the fun out of Kaepernick. But Yabusele is a game time decision here. He's questionable with a knee injury. That would hurt not to have him in the lineup at the 4 beside Embiid. Andre Drummond, God, he's 31. I watched him out there. He looks like he's 45. He was ruled out on one of these missed 8 straight games. The only reason why I mention it is because if Yabusele's out as well, what will have to happen is at times Paul George has to go to the 4. And what we've seen with the Sixers in these situations, if Paul George has to play at the 4, you'd need somebody kind of soft on the opposing 4. And you could say Tobias Harris fits the role there. But Harris is also a game time decision. So is Cade Cunningham is a game time. Harris is probable. Okay, so he'll be in. Cade, obviously, extremely important. He's a game time decision. He was at shoot around, so he's going to be good to go. They haven't upgraded him to probable, but you can expect him. Schroeder is now on Detroit. I mean, this guy must be just the worst person that you could imagine, And I think that anybody who dyes that little bit of blonde in their hair is likely to be an asshole. But this guy, with the talent, and after watching him take Germany to win the World Cup, and
crazy.
He's just passed around to the whole league. If Masai hates you, something's wrong. Something's wrong with you. I mean, Masai is just a great guy. So Schroeder, maybe he'll show up in Detroit at some point, but he's not going to be there tonight. He's listed as just a game time decision. And then Malik Beasley is listed as probable. That's good to go. He can be instant offense.
Yeah.
He can be deadly from the outside. I've always liked Malik Beasley. So here we go. Yes, Embiid is playing, and yes, good point. Wager Taker saying Tobias Harris facing his former team. Sweaty Butcher saying Pistons as a home dog off a loss 5-2 against the spread. Kripke looking at Pistons as well. And Kelly McKinnon says Schroeder is a Sean Avery of basketball. That's nice. Okay, so 76ers coming off their third loss in 4 games, 108-101 at home over the Heat on Wednesday. And Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey will be playing together through 50 games here. We've seen these 3 together 10 times. They're 7-3 over those 10 times. Embiid came back on Tuesday. He was gone for a month with the knee injury. He went for a triple-double, 29, 11, and 10 in a 118-116 victory, a very underwhelming victory over Dallas. Then he sat out the second half of the back-to-back. Paul George returned from the finger injury. He held to 9 points in 32 minutes. He's not looked good. He's played 31. I feel bad. I do. I feel bad for Philadelphia basketball fans because they were pretty excited. And to have this horrific season, thank God for Maxey. But he's missed 7 games. He's played 43 of the 50. He's been rolling, though, right now. He's gone for 28 or more in 16 straight. 16 straight. Cade Cunningham did everything he could. 38 points, 9 assists. But Garland's dagger was great. Pistons coming up their second straight loss, 118-115 home to the Cavaliers on Wednesday. Take it away for us here. Wine time. Sixers at the Pistons.
Yeah, Jim, I'm not going to lie. Originally looking at this game, I thought it was a 76ers spot. Seeing this line movement towards them as well, seeing them at a 4.5 here. I'm not sure if Cade's going to play. If he's not going to play, I definitely think it's a 76ers spot, but the line's probably going to move a little more. Spot I didn't move on, though. The Detroit Pistons have just been so good to me this year. I think this is actually a good matchup. This is going to be – I'm glad that this is the ESPN game. You wouldn't really expect that, like 2 teams that are kind of mediocre this season, but definitely on the strong side. This is going to be a good basketball game to watch. I'm glad it's the ESPN one. This should be a good one. I definitely lean towards the 76ers. I'm not going to move on it. Shout out to my guy Sweaty Butcher in the chat, though, being on the Detroit Pistons. They've made us some cash this year, so I can see why. And the 76ers, I mean, they lost me a couple days ago. I think it was on Tuesday. I had them 2.5, and Embiid missed that free throw at the end of the game for the to get that cover. It is what it is. Kind of pissed me off a little bit. So that's probably why I'm not taking the 76ers either. With that being said, it seems like a 76ers spot though, Jim. They've got their team together. They're 7-3 together. If Cade's playing in this one, though, you never know, man. He's starting to be one of the better players in basketball right now. Like, he's a really good basketball player, team player. He can get the assist. He can score at any time. He gets the free throw line. He can knock down the threes. He can do it all, man. It's fun watching Cade Cunningham play, man. This guy's good. But that being said, I'm off this one. Nothing officially for me on this, but I definitely had to lean towards the 76ers.
See, well, we don't know if Cade's going to be in or out at this point. We don't know. But if Cade here, if Cade is in and Yabusele's out, would that not make watching Paul George play the 4? I point and laugh at times, and so, but he'll sometimes have the right opponent where it doesn't, where he can do his thing. I'd be interested here. Sweaty Butcher also liking the over in this one. So I would be I'm interested. Sweaty Butcher's interest in the Pistons has me interested. I don't think 7-3 straight up with the big 3 in. It doesn't really tell the whole story, and I have some interest in the Pistons, but especially with Sweaty Butcher on it. But I'm gonna give it a question mark. No, the line's saying that he's in. The line's moving towards the Sixers because the big three is going to be in as well. That's what I think, but everybody can read those things differently. Let's roll on. Let's roll on to Raptors, Oklahoma City Thunder. There was a few games where I was on the Kansas City Chiefs late in the season, and it was so relaxing. It was so relaxing. I was just sitting back. We'd have a live stream, and I'd just be like, chomp on an edible, have a drink, just sit back, relax. Because I know the feeling when you're on the other side of Mahomes, and I'm going to be on the other side of Mahomes on Sunday. And now, last year, I felt sick all day, and I wasn't sick. I felt sick, knowing that my 49ers, knowing they were going to lose. I felt this sick feeling. I was at my son's birthday party, and I'm like sitting in the corner, feeling sick. Not talking to anybody, knowing what I was about to see. I feel different here. But also because I don't have this huge connection to the Eagles, so it's a little more comfortable. Now in retrospect, I wish I took the Eagles to win the conference and the Super Bowl, because then I could have the easy hedge. Remember, I got 6-1 on the conference. I could have got 9-1. But the reason why I say this story is because being on the Oklahoma City Thunder last game. Now, I lost the first half, so I lost a little bit of vig. I didn't make, but I got it back on the -125 on the money line. But it was such a relaxing feeling. Watching this team playing for each other, playing defense, liking each other. The Thunder, when I talked about the Mavericks at 18-1, yeah, I think it'd be nice to have that in your pocket. But can the Mavericks beat the Thunder? No way. No way. Now, do you want the Thunder to win the NBA championship at +230? No. Nobody bets futures for a +230 score, especially if you got to beat the Celtics. You're better off just betting the Thunder on the money line in Boston, if they, but whatever. So the Thunder are just a phenomenal basketball team, and I've seen so many people betting them as double-digit favorites, and I haven't been. -13, -14. I finally got one, but again, I lost the first half. The Thunder, they're not just beating teams, they're destroying teams.
Yeah, they're putting their foot on their throats and not stopping. It's crazy.
Now they're 19-point favorites against the Raptors. 19. I mean, I remember watching these teams play a couple years ago, like during the pandemic, and it was just ugly basketball. And nobody was trying to win. Barrett out, Pirtle out. Who knows if Tucker's even coming to Toronto, and who knows if Ingram wants to. I think BI wants to because he's going to get this huge contract that he wouldn't get anywhere else, I believe, but we'll see. For the Thunder, they're just Chet is also at the 4, so we get to watch Chet and Hartenstein. I mean, what a basketball team! But 19-point favorites against the Raptors team that shows effort. They try. This total is at 229 at a pick'em. This opened up at 234, so we've dropped 5 points here. Let's get to the cash flow then in this one. We have 41% of the tickets, 53% of the cash, 85 and 76 on the over. Also watching Shea go for 50 like it's nothing. Also going for 50 without taking 40 shots. Like if we watched Steph Curry go for 37, it reminded me, I watched Giannis go for 50 one night, and it was ugly. Like he played bad and he went for 50. Steph played bad last night and went for 37.
Yeah,
Shea does it all in the flow of the game. Beautiful. Big Mastro in the house. Said just want to say thanks to you all on Capital. They made a $5 parlay ticket for free with a bunch of people's picks on the show in cash. I'd love to hear that, man. So here we go. Raptors coming off their second straight loss, 138-107 at home to the Grizzlies on Wednesday. The Grizzlies just ran them over. Raptors playing at 22nd fastest pace. And as I said, they've been shooting the ball much better of late. Not quite, on Wednesday, but of late. Over the last 5 games, 46.5 from the field and 36.3 from 3. The Thunder haven't been shooting well from 3. Can Caruso just stop shooting it? Like, he drives me absolutely nuts. Watching him, like, he doesn't jump. He looks like me taking 3-pointers. I seriously, when I watch him take 3, I'm like, oh, I've got that same form, and I miss all my shots too. The Thunder but he's great defensively. The Thunder coming up their third straight win, 140-109 at home to the Suns on Wednesday. This is the first of a back-to-back as they play at Memphis tomorrow. So keep that in mind. They play at Memphis tomorrow. Take it away for us one time, Raptors, Thunder.
Yeah, I think you kind of said it. I'm going to be on the OKC Thunder here. Laying almost 20 points, the biggest favorite of the night by far, man. Like 19 and a half. This is crazy. I don't know if I've ever actually done this before. I think I've done 17 and a half, but I don't know about 19 and a half in an NBA game. Make it official. Actually, I can get a minus 19 at minus 110 right now. So give me let me refresh this. Let me just make sure this is correct. Yeah, minus 19, minus 110. Lock me in, Jim. I think OKC is going to beat these guys by 20 plus. I'm not even going to watch this game. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to watch the score on my phone and just I'm not even going to watch this game. I'm just going to sit back and, like you said, wait for the cash to come in because they're going to beat these guys by 20 plus points. Raptors were playing some really good basketball going down the stretch and made some money off them. Just seems like OKC is going to put their foot on the throat. And by the time this game ends, it's going to be a 25-30 point victory for the OKC Thunder. So, yeah, give me OKC minus 19, minus 110. I'm all locked in.
Wow. That's wild. That's wild because the Raptors fight. They try. Now, if you're, and look, Jacoby, we want Jacoby to get more run. We're excited about Jacoby Walter. We think that he's going to be a usable player, even if we get better. That's fascinating. The 19. I mean, I'm certainly not on the other side. Let's roll on to the final game on today's card. Then we race for $100. $100 on the line here. Let's talk 10 p.m. Eastern. Utah Jazz 12-37, 7-19 on the road. At the Phoenix Suns 25-25, 15-9 at home. Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona. Utah 2-3 over their past 5, 13th fastest pace, 100.2 possessions a game, 48.6 from the field, and 36.7 from three. They're playing decent basketball over the last little bit, and that was a really nice win, over the Warriors. Let's see what we're dealing with now here. Sorry, let me get that off. We have, Clarkson and Sexton out. But Collier and George are the future. So then we have Markkanen, Collins, and Kessler. I mean, that's the starting five they probably want to move forward with. Here, KD is a game time decision, but I think the idea is that he's going to be in, but he's still not listed as probable. This is a late game, so I don't know if shoot around is probably going on right now. I'm surprised they aren't telling us. Bradley Beal here is a game time decision. He looked quite good last game. He looked quite good. And then Ryan Dunn has been getting a ton of run for this team. He's listed as probable. He left with left ankle soreness. The guy's putting out effort, which is something that you question at times when you watch the Suns. So Jazz coming off their second win in 3 games, 131-128 home over the Warriors on Wednesday. This is the first of a back-to-back. So they play at the Clippers tomorrow night. And here, something important to remember and keep an eye on is that they're going to be in LA for like 5 or 6 days. They play the Clippers and then they play the Lakers twice. So capping wise, you're going to be in a good situation, either back them or fade them, depending on what you see. They're not moving. And just a side note, the Suns 1-4 over the past 5, 100.21 possessions game. That's 12th in the league, shooting 49.4 from the field and 38.5 from three. It was funny. I was watching them hit every bucket. And again, this is like when you have a hockey team that is better than the other team and they're down 1-0. I was like, this is fine. A live bet this here on the money line to minus 125. Literally 2 minutes later, 3 possessions later was minus 400 here. So Big Master says, I love the Jazz here. Money line. Suns locker room is a mess. Saturated on the Jazz plus 8.5. Thomas Magic says Durant is mad they were fixing to trade him. I wonder what he thinks of that, honestly. He's a pretty low-key dude, smoking blunts, kind of chilled, knows he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best ever play. I wonder what he thought. And I wonder, did he actually turn down a trade to the Warriors? Like, I wonder if that's just rumors too. I wonder. I don't know. So let's go into the line history here for this one. We have this total at 232 minus 109 to the over. Opened up at 231. Then we go into the spread. On the spread here, we have the Jazz at plus 8.5 at minus 107. They opened up at 7.5 and now at 8.5. For those of you guys who are on the Jazz, I completely get it. But again, and maybe there's a caveat to this because here we have a Suns team that lost by 30 plus points, which is, a wheelhouse backing. But I tell you how rare it is for a team that lose by 30 points and then be 8.5 point favorites the next game. I mean, it doesn't really fit the system. Usually the teams that lose by 30 points are bad teams that are big dogs. And this is also a first of a home back-to-back. They host the Nuggets tomorrow night. And we didn't look at the cash flow for this one. From a cash flow perspective, 35% of the tickets, 35% of the cash on the Jazz. I completely get why people are on the Jazz. 86% of tickets, 88% of cash on the over. There was a similar situation here in college basketball with LSU and Georgia, where I stayed off the double up on Georgia that I wanted because LSU had just lost by 30, and the Georgia double up would have cashed comfortably. So, there's caveats to all of these angles. Take it away, Wine Time Jazz Suns.
Yeah, Utah Jazz, a team that I've been backing the last week or so. They've been playing some good basketball. This spot, though, Jim, just doesn't seem like a Utah Jazz spot. You mentioned the Suns just not playing a good brand of basketball lately, losing 4 of their last 5 games, losing by 30-plus points. I think this is going to be an angry group here on a Friday night at home. I'm not going to back the Utah Jazz, and I could only back the Phoenix Suns here. I'm not going to quite yet, but I think we're seeing this at an 8.5, moving towards the Phoenix Suns. We are seeing more of the bets come in, but more of the money's also coming on them. That's what's moving the line, I believe. And Phoenix Suns, they need to get some wins here. This is their team going forward. So they need to start getting some wins off here. And this is a good spot for them to take on a team that's not very good. They've been playing good basketball the last week or two. Colin Sexton's still not playing. So I would only take the Phoenix Suns here. I'm not going to take the Utah Jazz. There's certain spots I take the Utah Jazz, and this just doesn't seem like the right spot. It seems like a Phoenix Suns kind of spot. It feels like the Suns can beat these guys by 10-plus points here on a Friday night. I might end up officially moving on this one closer to tip-off. We'll see, but I have a lean towards the Suns.
I wonder this here because, of course, we have the Jazz off of a big win and the Suns coming off getting destroyed. I backed the Suns in a similar situation, and they were minus 6.5. I can't quite remember. It was like maybe a month ago, and they dominated the game, and I still had to sweat it out, and they won by 8. I mean, these are tricky numbers when they're this big of a favorite. But what about this? This is a possibility here. What if this was the team more than anybody else, more than any other team in the NBA that really needed to get through the trade deadline? You had Beal, all this stuff with no trade clause, fourth highest paid player in the league or fourth highest paid player in the league. You had, Durant, who Deju says they've announced that he did nix a trade back to the Warriors. What if these guys just wanted to get through and now they're like, okay, we're here. This is our group. Let's go out and play some basketball after losing by 31.
Exactly.
It's an interesting angle that maybe the Suns are the play. Now, we have had a 7-cent move towards the Jazz, though, in the last hour and a half or so offshore. But that's an interesting breakdown that maybe this is the Suns here. I'm gonna study this further. Dan Kelly says these Suns are vets. I doubt that is valid. Dan, you have to say, though, they had to answer questions nonstop for 3 weeks to a month. You don't think that was annoying to them? You don't think that they walk in the stadium and don't have to answer those fucking questions anymore? I mean, vet or no vet, if every time you talk to the media, they talk about whether or not you're going to be traded, doesn't it get a little tiring? I would think it would, but I guess I hear what you're saying. But I think it's a relief. Stop asking me about this shit. This is our basketball team. We're moving forward. But all right, let's review all action here on this card in NBA. Wine time on the Hornets plus 10.5 at -110. We've stayed off of Cavaliers, Wizards, Bucks, Hawks. We've stayed off here. The Nets, I'm going to join you. Wine time on the Nets plus 6 -110. He's got the Nets money line. He's got both Johnsons in a parlay. Cam over 2.5 threes. Keon over 11.5 points. That's at plus 140. I'm gonna have a light card. Oh, but I might get onto the Pistons. I have some interest in them, and I might get into the Suns. Wine time also on the Thunder -19 at -110. I'll certainly be watching these games and ready to live bet them, but I don't know how much. Oh, and by the way, once we get through football, we are gonna, start moving back into live streams. Next week we go NBA live streams and college basketball live streams. We're gonna be moving into that direction. So
Nice.
Excellent job, Wine Time, my man. D. Jenkins says thoughts on the Pacers versus Lakers with the Luka debut. Wish Pacers would have lost to the Clippers so I can take them, but I still have interest. I will be betting the Pacers without a doubt. There's zero doubt in my mind, and the reason being is because the Lakers have looked, really good. I know there was some poor defense and they're allowing the Warriors back in, but Lakers are playing at a very, very well right now. Watching Luka lollygag up the court. That's what they call it when a white guy does it, right? Lollygag. He's a fucking lollygagger. Watching him lollygag up the court, I don't think it's going to help what's going on there in LA. Now, in the long run, it will help, obviously. But Saturate says LeBron out here shooting half quarters. Mr. Belvedere's action: Oilers -1, UConn -3.5, St. Joe's -5.5. I'm interested in that St. Joe spot. Oh, and he's on the Sixers -4. All right. Yeah, no, I plan on betting that, D. Jenkins. I think we need to time it right, though. But that line's been out for a while. I can bet that right now. That line's been out for days. I can tell you what it is right now. Here, that line's been out for days. Did you know that line's? I told you about it, right? Yeah, I think I told you about it.
Yeah.
That I can bet that right now. There's been a. Oh no, sorry, I'm wrong. That's the Lakers Mavericks. That's the one that Wine Time wants to go to. All right, that is our NBA coverage for today. Wine Time, great work, man, great work. That was an ugly card, and I like your action here. I'll be in touch with you, my friend. You have a huge day ahead. Then you got the big starting five show. You bring so much to the channel. We're so thankful to cap with you, and a lot of us are extremely excited to hang with you in person in San Antonio, my man. Please support Wine Time on X. I'm going to pop his X handle here in the chat, and that's NBA for today. Any last words, Wine Time?
Yeah, Jim, it's a blessing doing this show with you. Love breaking these games down with you guys, talking ball. Shout out to everyone in the chat for supporting. Can't wait to hang out with you guys in San Antonio. It's coming up here before you know it. If you guys haven't booked your flights, book them now, guys. Get them while they're cheap. Figure out where you're staying, all that good stuff. And good luck to everyone, Jim. Yeah, we'll be talking later today. Good luck on your action today. Give me a follow on X Wine Time Sports. See me on the starting five with Daby, Cabin, Dutch Boy tomorrow and the rest of the crew. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Love you guys.
Here is our guy, Wine Time Sports. I've had so much action this week. I honestly, I don't remember a week with this much action because I just got back to the Tuesdays and Wednesdays. What am I going to do tonight? I've got like 6 or 7 bets. I guess I'd just be ready to live bet. That's what I'll do, I guess. Let's race. Let's bring our friend Snips back to the show. He's back from looking after his mom up in Houston. Snips, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm good, my friend. I'm good. When did you drive back?
I drove back at like 6 p.m. Got home around like 10ish.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I didn't realize that when we were texting. Okay. Well, glad you made it back safe. How's your mom doing?
She's good. Her spine is half steel now, but it is what it is.
Well, I'm glad that she's on the mend here. And we have a big weekend ahead of us. You're going to join us for our Super Bowl stream?
Yeah, I'll be there for, first bit of it. I'll be there for the pre-show as well. So it'll be a fun time. Loaded Super Bowl day. And I would love to come back and beat my bookie over the head because I've had a tough week and a half here. So I want to come back here and beat him in the Super Bowl as I once have before.
I'm excited for our Super Bowl videos to come out as well here. We have a new nickname Nanya has given your mom, so I'm sure she'll be pleased.
Yeah, she'll be. I don't even know what the fuck that means, but
you'll have to figure out what that is in Espanol.
I will.
Yeah. But Wager Detective, very different angle. He's actually praying for your mom.
So. Thanks, Wager. I'll let her know. And she'll be thrilled that the Wager Detective is indeed praying for her.
Yeah, and watching from the window, because he's Let's race, Jose. How many gold members do we have?
81, I believe, gold members right now. So shout out to the fearsome 81 here as well. I don't know what a pap smear is, Nate. So there's that for you. And saturated, my mom did appreciate my haircut. She said that it looked like a pretty little boy, and I appreciated that. But let's get going here.
Pap
Let's
smear,
get
though, pap smear,
racing.
I can tell you, pap smear is a live dog. You can use it in gambling talk anytime you want. You got a pap smear, you got a live dog.
Okay, fair enough. I will say that at Palooza. But you guys got a pap smear. Seems like a live dog during the tournament, and I'm sure that'll get rounds of applause from everyone
I
here.
don't know about round of applause. I don't think people care that much, but unless it's
I
unless it's a
disagree.
winner, unless you're giving out winners.
Well, I will indeed. But let's race.
Let's race.
These beautiful camels. God bless them. These camels are rolling here. $100 on the line here. Kent Davies, Randall Sheffield, Chill Will, all in the mix. Pipe layer down there as well. Is that a Preston Ekdahl up there? Who is up there?
I haven't seen him there in a while.
Can't even tell. Is that Randall Sheffield? That's Billy Friedrich up there. And Jeff Slaughter pushing from the back. Big Show Picks down there below. Where the hell's Nasty Nate's camel?
Here comes Big Ragu. That camel's making a monster move. So is Eberk making a big move from the back of the pack. And there's the Eldorado Custodian. The Eldorado Custodian making a huge move to the front. Can the Eldorado Custodian, Jason Meyer, bring this home? But Pipe Layer right there as well. There's T-Moss. T-Moss looking like he's in the range for $100.
Oh,
and
my
here
God.
comes Nasty Nate. Here comes Nasty
Oh, my
Nate.
God.
Is the day. Is the Billy Friedrich says no, Nasty Nate buckles and coin. Our friend Coin is on.
I saw him charging. I thought it was the day. Oh my God.
I thought it was too. I thought on Salty Pete right there. I thought it was too. I thought it was finally the day that Nasty Nate was gonna do it, man. That was funny. Congratulations to Coin. Crystal Craig says I was likely last place. Let's find out who was last place. I didn't see him. Oh, there I came up late.
Together here. Scroll. Philly Eagle Flyer.
Yeah.
The 81st gold member down there. And for that, you get nothing. Philly Eagle Flyer, you get nothing.
Big O going to be in Tampa. You know what, Big O? I bet Big Ragu will be there for the Sam F. Davis too. Huh. I'd love it if you guys got to meet up and hang out. Spenny Pennybombs had a beer with Big Ragu when he went down to the Buccaneers game. Wasn't that great to see the Nuke Worker and the Gokster in Belleville together? Did you see that pic?
Yes, I did. That was hilarious. I mean, it's just like, look at my grandpa here at the Belleville Senators game with Peepaw. That's what I got from that picture.
I didn't think what the hell are you talking about?
Wow. That's what I got. I thought Ghost was like, oh, here I am, buddy, with my grandpa. I'm just going to visit the Belleville Senators. And I had a good laugh. That kind of
talk will get that grandpa knock you out, man. That kind of talk.
Yeah. I'll take my chances. With Nuke Worker, I'll take my chances.
When did this become a... Jesus. He's in the chat here. He's going to... Good God. Wow.
He's gonna shiv me. He's not gonna punch me in the face. He's gonna take out his fucking shank and just
no. He's old school. He'll punch you in the face. There's no shanks, man. He'll punch.
If I'm gonna take my chances with someone at Palooza, let it be Nuke Worker, I guess.
Jesus, why just lay off of this, man? Good God. Good God. I hope he's got this. Oh, there he is. There's Nuke. All right.
Oh fuck! That's the most scary response you could even say right there.
I cannot believe this is the man that you are. That's the guy you want to fuck with. Good God!
Fuck!
It's a very dangerous proposition for you.
I'm fucked.
Very dangerous proposition. All right. Wow. This feels like the shortest show we've had in a long time, Jose. 3 hours and it's done. I feel like what am I going to do with my day? And also, I don't have to sit here for 2 hours deciding what to add. I got barely any additions on today's show. Let's go over the action on today's show here. Here we go. I don't know if I want to mess with the under in Pittsburgh Rangers. I like my action on the Rangers -1. We know that Crosby's now not in the lineup. I don't know why I would like muddy anything up here. Rangers are now -210. I got the Jets -1 as well, and the Oilers -1. We heard from Mel who watches the Avs, it's their biggest bet of the year on the Edmonton Oilers. So was there any, again, when Nicholas talked about, are they going to step up and play for this young goaltender? It's the day before a 2-week break. So, I mean, obviously I don't know the answer, but I don't predict that they will. I don't feel like adding the under. But I got the Jets -1. And I like my card a lot. And also this is key. You may not want. No, I think even with this is key. If the Penguins score first, or if the Islanders score first, or if the Avalanche score first, immediately bet the Rangers, Jets, or Oilers. Immediately bet them, and that's just been crushing all week for us. Then we have a Spooner, St. John's +2.5 play of the day. VCU, St. John's, and Princeton. Pig Milk on St. Louis +6.5. Gerald Jones best bet Princeton -7. Then CMAC on that first half under 65.5 in VCU Dayton. He's also on the Princeton team total over 76.5. Then we have Cab on UConn going up against Morgan. CMAC on the over 140. St. Joseph's, I expect to move on, but I want to sit with that a little longer. The Trill OG play of the day is OKC, team total over 31 first quarter. Stacks play of the day number 1, De'Aaron Fox over 8 or more assists, and Dayton +1.5. And we just went over NBA. That is our show for today. The next time I will see all of you guys, Super Sunday. Super Sunday. And I can't wait for Super Sunday.
And you're going to be on the Eagles, huh?
I'm not going to be. I'm on them.
That hurts.
Why?
I'm obviously going to be on the Chiefs. I'm not betting against the bad man. Fuck the better team. I'll take the bad man and Pat Mahomes and watch him do it again.
Yeah, that's the one way of looking at it. I don't feel the same way as I did before. Like last year, I knew that the Chiefs were going to win. There's nothing that anybody could do to stop it. This is different. The Eagles are different. And CMC McCaffrey, CMC, the original CMC.
Not Conor Mac, obviously.
No, McCaffrey is very, very different than Saquon. Very different runner. Saquon can run right into the teeth of the defense if he wants. It was something that McCaffrey can't do. And Saquon can run 35 times to the teeth of the defense, something that McCaffrey can't do. And then the Eagles' defense is the best in the league. So I have a very different feeling about this one. And I can't wait. I can't wait. Billy Friedrich says, who is Loshak taking in the confidence pool? 2 people need to know. I can't. It's so annoying that I'm out of it. In 4th place and out of it. It was just me switching the Buccaneers from 4 to 7. If I hadn't have done that. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Sunday. It's going to be very, very fun. Got the booze already to go. So I'm ready.
Sure.
I'm pumped up. Please join us on Sunday. And our NFL videos are going to be out here shortly. So thank you guys all so much. Philly Eagle Flyer, Smoking Lovely, Ricky Levine, Da Juice, Crip Key, Billy Friedrich, Nunya. What a great group. The Sweaty Butcher, Mel. I'm on the Oilers, Mel. I'm on the Oilers -1. But you know why that is, Mel. It's because everyone looks at the Avalanche +160 and goes, what? I get the Avalanche +160? I mean, it's perfect. It's the exact same trap that we talked about that was set with the Ottawa Senators. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. Gerald Jones, Big O, Morgan Spooner was great on camera. Saturated, Mr. Belvedere, Nasty Nate, AOD, Crystal Craig. Thank you guys so much. Truly, truly, thank you. And Jose, thank you, man. Been a busy week for you. Things get back to a little bit normal now. Great to see you. I'll be talking to you here in a second. We got to go over some stuff for that video. But on behalf of all of us, Pub Sports Radio, thank you so much for your support. Jose, my man, can you take us home?
Yep. Good luck to everyone. Spoons, nice job today. Everyone in the chat. Core shout out to you guys. Let's get some money today. And let's enjoy that Super Bowl coming up here soon. So let's check. Hey, those bookmakers.